Could make it Wino forever. Could make it Wino forever. Could make it Wino forever.
Good evening, welcome to the Viper Room.
Hello, everybody. This is episode 5. This is the Wino Forever, the Deppening podcast. I got that entire title in this time. I think the first time. I am
You got a lot of shit. You got a lot of shit from your legions of fans.
I got to get to that later. I am joined by the entertainment portion of the podcast. His name is Jal Senko. He's going to join me.
You're making me redder than Stephen Canal on the 1986 auditions.
It can be a good thing. We're going to get into your role in the Viper Room, Jal Senko, later on.
Oh, okay. But you
so, how are you doing, Mr. Arm?
Not bad. Not bad. I want to institute a little house cleaning. A correction if we find. I remember we got off the last time, and I remember thinking that NT is gonna get a knuckle sandwich. I do not buy the Natalie Portman portion of that. I think there's some. I mean, we never said we 100% believed in it, but Natalie Portman has a strange connection to the Depp family because she did a commercial with him, and maybe we could, I don't know, maybe institute the picture. Paul McCartney did some cornball Valentine song. And so Depp and Natalie Portman starred in this video, and they both do sign language. This is in 2012. That hit me, and something else hit me. She also stars in a movie with Lily Rose. Despotism, called Planetarium, and they play fucking sisters. There's got to be, let me see, Lily's 21, Natalie Portman's pushing 40. There's at least 15 to 20 years between them. Not that it's impossible to be sisters, and not that Natalie Portman doesn't look young, but it's just bizarre. The connection there there's just no way Natalie Portman would agree to do a movie with Lily Rose unless she's besties with Vanessa, which I doubt. They could be friendly, and apparently her and Lily really got along like older and younger sister on the thing. So there's just no way Natalie Portman's agreeing to do a movie with Johnny Depp's daughter if she was this raging feminist and she believed in anything he did as an abuser.
I think I said in the last, when we discussed it, I think I said I did not believe it at all. I still don't believe it.
I think you'd said that, yeah.
But that being said, what we've learned in the last even 20 years that people in Hollywood will turn their eyes from anything if it means they get a role. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. Does fame and juicy movie roles usurp integrity or personal ethics? Yeah, often it does. We don't know Natalie Portman well enough to know that she wouldn't turn tail on something. Not that she doesn't get a zillion offers. I would consider an A-list actress. So she probably is the reason a movie like that gets made. The thing only made, I looked up, the thing only made 500, that's what Artie Lang's Beer League made, like $580,000 internationally. It was the plot of the movie. I might even watch it. I think it's available somewhere. If it's not, I'll make it available. It's
legally.
Yeah, very legally. Legally.
You can report back on the acting chops of one Lily Rose Depp.
I will. I
Okay.
will. I've seen her. You haven't seen Yoga Hosers yet?
No.
Oh, we got to watch that. We got to do a show on his. You know, she's best friends with Harley Quinn Smith.
Of course she is. I cannot get over
They
the
went
name.
to school together.
I can't get over the name.
And so Kevin Smith did another self-indulgent mess of just slick dialogue, but no plot and no story, you know, just, you know, like every Kevin Smith fan. This one's kind of cute. And Depp plays a guy named Guy Lapointe, who's a detective with a Canadian accent. Very unrecognizable. Very, very chameleon Depp. The movie's worth watching just to watch him play Canadian. And decrepit Canadian. And Lily Rose and Harley Quinn star in this movie as they play convenience store clerks. And you know, Lily Rose especially is drawing on her real life experience in retail and as a convenience clerk to do that movie.
It's like when Donna Martin subbed in for a retail clerk in the ghetto of Beverly Hills.
Oh my God, we got a
in a later
90210. Donna Martin graduates. Donna Martin graduates. Donna Martin graduates. You know, Cookie's gonna listen to this, right?
I love her. She listens to everything I do.
She had a GIF of who's the dude that got killed in the first
Scott.
Scott Scanlon. Right.
That's Scott.
That was Brian Austin Green's bestie.
Yes. Douglas Emerson is the actor's name.
Oh, very nice. I remember that name.
He took the Ray Pruitt route, the Jamie Walters route, and went on to either become a doctor or a fireman. I don't remember which one. I believe a fireman.
Oh, good for him.
And then Jamie Walters became an EMT.
Do you mean helping people is more important than an Aaron Spelling television drama?
You mean you don't want to fall into the depression of one reality show after another with your loser husband who cheats on you after you've birthed out 6 of his children and your name is Tori Spelling and you did not get any of your inheritance?
All I know is if I need mental health, I'm going to one Randall Spelling, who is is he a life coach now?
He's a local guy. He's either in Eugene, Oregon or Portland, Oregon, one of those two pools of cess. I believe so. I think she visits him from time to time. We get all the celebrities here. Like we have a Scientology school here.
Have you ever seen him at the local Fred Meyer, the Trailblazers sponsor?
No. Rest in peace, Jerome Kersey. I think he had his blood clot issue in the Fred Meyer parking lot.
Are you kidding me?
I think so. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong,
is that? Oh my God! I don't
deserve.
That's crazy.
To be a Blazer fan.
Oh my God!
So yeah. Anyway, greatest Blazer I know.
I just to tie in and just get off the night. You know, when we do Jump Street, and I could just reference. There's so much crossover with Beverly Hills 90210. I can't even describe. What I always hated was how 90210 used to take credit for the teen issues. Oh, we cornered the market we broke down doors addressing all the teen issues that you fucking hackneyed doppelganger fucking Jump Street did all of that. And the worst thing is how stupid you think your audience is. It's Fox. You follow Jump Street, and you're really going to pull that load of bullshit that we're supposed to believe that you tackle the teen issues before 21 Jump Street did.
No, exactly. So are you ready to go for a stroll down Sunset Boulevard?
But one last thing on that. So when we do get more into Jump Street, which I'm sure people want, I think that's a very heavy. We don't have to do them consecutively. We do the pilot, we do an intro, and then the crossover of the writers that worked on both shows, directors that worked on both shows. Chris D'Elia's dad isn't on Jump Street, but he worked on 90210. And the guest actors, it's crazy. Some of the Christine Elise, who played Brandon's girlfriend, was in a Jump Street episode of season. It's just on and on and on. There's so many names, and it's going to be fun to cross that over. And how 90210 bit off Jump Street. Brandon's driving Depp's Mustang. It's the same.
Yeah.
What is it? The 1965 Mustang. It's the same thing. There's so many. I mean, Hansen is Brandon. Penhall is Steve. Grieco is Luke Perry. I mean, it's just endless.
No, I agree with you. Would you say Aoki is Brian Austin Green?
We don't have any Asians to compare him to, so yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the best we can do with that. There's no other direction to go.
I want to address something very quickly. I'm going to get off of this very quickly, and I'm going to. Yeah. Speaking of me backtracking on your Asian accent there, but if we do that, that's only because if you have any idea on how social media platforms work these days, there are certain things you can't say. Unless you want to move your content to some flash in the pan jumpstart video platform that's going to fold in 2 months, and I have no interest in doing that. So if we backtrack, that's the only reason. I don't give a flying monkey shit if Johnny Depp sues me. I think he has other things to do in his life right now.
No, I think this is part of his. I think he has a team of a legal team of retainer lawyers, and he's coming right at you're next after the succubus and his managers. You're next.
Well, he's going to sue me.
And just you. I'm distancing myself from that. You said it. I didn't say it.
He's going to sue me because I said his cigarette smoking is disgusting. So please do it. The countersuit will be epic.
Count me in too. I would love to go to court on that and fight his lawyers out and talk about smoking, being an advocate for the 3 packs of cigarettes a day for 45 years. Just insane. And then hire a personal physician to clean my lungs every 2 weeks. However that process goes.
Yeah. The only reason
Dr. Kipper, lung cleaner.
Oh God. Well, hey, Dr. Feelgood.
Right.
The only reason I bring that up
did we I didn't know that I knew the Motly Crüe song. The Dr. Feelgood, we didn't talk about this, right? His doctor is the ultimate Dr. Feelgood, right? Dr. Kipper.
We mentioned it.
Now explain that definition of that.
Celebrities usually, if they dabble in the darker side of fame, will have one at least doctor on staff to basically give in to their every need, I should say, desire or want. So if they say they have a headache, but they would really like to just get some opiates, they have a doctor on staff 24/7 to write them a prescription. Usually it used to be unlimited amounts. I don't know what the regulations on that are. I'm sure they find a way to get around it. You want anything your doctor can get for you. This doctor, we get back on topic.
Kipper.
Yeah, this Dr. Kipper was on staff with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. He bought Amber Heard a negligee for their wedding gift, which is a little weird to me, but we'll get into them. We're gonna.
That's something. Speaking of Aaron Spelling, that's something Michael Mancini would do.
Mm-hmm. I think he's got a side of him. He would wear that negligee. Wow.
Kimberly, I bought you a negligee. You never wear it.
He's such a kink. Anyway, he would put that on. So.
Thomas Calabro.
Yeah, let me finish up with that thing. I want to close that down. But there was just a very obtuse comment on our first video that I was afraid Johnny Depp was going to sue me.
Was that Viking?
Yes, and it's not like Johnny Depp.
That's classic Viking. That's classic Viking. Come on.
No, there's issues there, so I'll be kind. It's not like it's not like Johnny Depp knows me. LOL. First of all, if you loll after every sentence, I don't take you seriously and I check out.
Whoa!
But I just want to say, I don't ever want to meet Johnny Depp. I learned a long time ago, meeting your heroes is the worst thing you can do. And I want to gaze at him from afar. That's it. I don't care. And I know I'm a bummer, as she commented.
Didn't you say you met Richard Marx at one point?
No, I talked to him.
Meet your heroes? Okay, that's a hero of yours.
I was getting paid at the time. When you do troubleshooting on that T-Mobile Sidekick device back in the early 2000s.
Oh, I love that phone.
I know. No. Every celebrity had that piece of crap. And
I wish I had a physical keyboard now. I really do, that you could pull out.
they would call, I'd be one of the, I think at the time, 10 people who were troubleshooting the technical side of that piece of garbage. Richard Marx, Naomi Campbell, Joe Simpson, who was the guy that was
John
really
Mayer.
nice? John Mayer was my favorite. He was so nice.
That's a doppelganger.
I
Looks more
know.
like Jack Depp than Jack Depp looks like his dad.
He's kind of a creep, but he's very polite to me. And after you talk to Joe Simpson, who basically tells you what a C word you are on the phone.
Oh my God. I
you-
heard Naomi Campbell threw a phone at you through the phone.
No, but she had about 10 people. She had about 10 people in the room, and I could not get her to concentrate. I think she was enjoying something fresh off of the mirror. I don't know.
That's a Depp rumored tryst.
Yeah, I read that too. I was very disappointed. So anyway, let's get back on topic. And it's the last time I'm going to ever acknowledge a comment, probably, unless it's a good one.
Oh, there's
So-
nothing wrong.
And my reminder in that first episode where this comment appeared, I swear to God, I'm almost done with this. I said, don't be an asshole or I'll ban you. And I truly
Whoa!
mean that. If you insult us personally, either one of us, I've never had, because possibly I was raised properly, I've never had the thought to listen to a podcast and go on and insult somebody on a personal level. So I wish you happiness, find it. I wish you 10% of the happiness I have in my life. Good luck.
I was called the Long Island accented big mouth.
You are. There's nothing wrong with that.
Viking was nice to me.
I know. She gave you a heart emoji. That tells me what I need to know.
Who knows what the sarcasm. Viking moves in mysterious ways.
Whatever. Strike two. So anyway, let's go on a stroll, as I said before, down Sunset Boulevard.
No. We got to
What?
do news.
Well, okay. What's the news?
Oh, that's a lot of enthusiasm there.
What else, Robin? Anything else?
You might as well have said anything else, Robin. Such a perfect Howard impression there.
You think so? I think I did.
Yeah.
A good job. Yeah.
No. Just the anything else, Rob. It's a perfect opportunity to say anything. I just want to really quick, and I'm not going to club you over the head with this. Discovery Plus, and we've been waiting this for a long time, has finally announced that they're coming out with a Depp v. Heard or Johnny v. Succubus.
I think it's Johnny versus Amber. I think that's the official title.
Documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it's 2 parts. I mean, not apparently. I mean, every major news source in entertainment news source has now reported on this. What I don't like about the thing is they're not telling you when it's coming out. It's this weird nebulous thing about and we've known about this for a while. Don't tell us it's coming out. Tell us when it's coming out. Don't say fall. We're almost out of the fall. Give us a firm fucking date so I can get excited about it. I've been waiting. Apparently, this isn't even the only one. Apparently, there's another, as you would imagine, other networks and sources and whatever streaming services are going to be doing something on this, and I can't wait. Give us a firm date. It is time. You can't say the fall and not give a firm date in freaking mid-November.
Mm-hmm.
Give us something. So apparently they've independent of either JD or the Succubus, the Depp man, they have gone to friends of friends of friends and people who know the case and people who are close to them and journalists and whoever know, and dug and dug and dug. And apparently it's a real, the people who wrote act like they've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds real good, and it better be long. Because don't give me this half-hour bullshit. I don't think 2 episodes is even going to cut it. It should be an absolute season.
I don't know how they're not waiting until this Virginia trial's over.
Yeah, I know. That's a great point. How do you run it before the results of that trial? It's almost like the Star UK trial was all they cared about.
Mm-hmm. I hope not. Because it did not say she was innocent.
Here's what I
Or
think.
if
I
she
think
was a
they're sick of
victim.
waiting. I think that they probably have been working on this for a while, and they're sick of waiting. She delayed the succubus's people, delayed the trial, right, to go to May, probably so she could shoot Aquaman before she was convicted.
Mm-hmm.
And the 12 angry Virginians feeling their wrath. So I think she got her lawyers to delay it so she can get Aquaman in before she wasn't able to do Aquaman if she's convicted.
She has thrown everything in the kitchen, including the sink and the fixtures below, to try to delay this and to try to have this thrown out. She has failed every time, and we will carry on. And
this has been going on for years. Years of your life is dripping by. It's going before your very eyes at the start of this trial. I mean, he was in Miramar, Florida when this trial started. And it is, I mean, when the divorce took place. And it's like, we want closure. Let's get this on, please. Stop with the conjecturing and the court documents and the test. His nurse had a testimony the other day. I haven't seen a transcript on it. Gonna have to get at that soon. And we haven't really gone into we're going to do that bit by bit. It's to do it all at once is kind of tedious. And a lot of people are going over it ad nauseum online, and they're making shit up, and they're, acting like they know something when they don't. And, major victory for Johnny Depp in like bold print. Like, it's just nothing to it. It's absolute a load of nothing.
Yeah, but people click on those videos. That's all they care about.
And so we need closure. We need to get this. I'm tired of all the speculation, and just let's get the trial on, and let's see where this goes.
Yep.
I mean, I couldn't look, and it better be televised. I was reading something the other day about the Rittenhouse trial. And they were talking to legal experts, and they say that we're going down a road now where these major trials are all going to be televised because we want to educate the public on legal matters and stuff. It's like a lesson. We want to see how this works and what you can. It's judges are more prone to green light the filming of these trials now. So I think that serves it well. That's going to be a massive, massive eyeballs on that thing. You're talking OJ-esque. I think it's way more interesting than OJ. Way more.
Yeah, you're not a fan of the OJ, but
I think it's overrated. He killed 2 people. So what? There's murders like that every day.
I agree. So we are going to see the flip side of the Me Too movement when it's made up, in my opinion. And I think that there's enough evidence that's going to
the big
show
thing, right? The flip of the Me Too, right? I mean, that's the
how
feminism,
dangerous.
right? How dangerous is the accusation? That's exactly right. That this is a blueprint for the cry wolf Me Too. This is she'll be the poster child for it.
I hope
if it goes the way we hope.
I hope so. Can we go for a walk finally? I need to walk down the boulevard so we can get this started. This is a two-part episode.
Can I tell you my favorite Brian Cox story real briefly?
I doubt it's brief.
Okay, so just before this becomes old, the actor, the English actor Brian Cox, came out with a book.
Yep.
And in the book, he kind of name drops, and he goes, he does the Rorschach thing when you bring up names, and he decides to take his targets to Depp, who he's never worked with. And he says this about Depp: Johnny Depp is overblown and overrated. Personable though I'm sure he is, Depp is so overblown, so overrated, Cox writes. The actor continues, I mean, Edward Scissorhands, let's face it, if you come on with hands like that, pale, scarred face, makeup, you don't have to do anything. And he didn't. And subsequently, he's done even less. But people love him, I guess, Cox adds. Before pointing out Depp's recent troubles in the aftermath of his tumultuous divorce from his ex-wife, the succubus. They don't love him so much these days, of course. Boy, I tell you, that sounds like a guy who this is just me reading into it, and I don't know how you don't. who didn't get cast in like
Mm-hmm.
Pirates or Finding Neverland or something, and somebody beat him out, and he was supposed to do something and fell through, and it's very strange he would target him. Are you entitled to your opinion? Sure, but that's really strange.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and that's a lot in a short amount of time.
You know
To
who he is,
skew
right?
that
He was
much.
in.
Barely.
He's a pretty big character actor. He's like in his late 60s, early 70s. He played Colonel Stryker in X-Men 2,
Mm-hmm.
which Depp reportedly turned down Wolverine. I got to look more into that. Hugh Jackman's great in that. You call him the Jack Man. He's a little too tall, but everyone knows he owns that Wolverine role. I do think Depp could play Logan pretty easily, though. He's sort of ageless. He could do this. I really do think he could pull it off. If you watch Blow, he has a Wolverine look to him. He's got the pork chop sideburns, and there's a scene where he comes when he's the child's just born. He goes to the hospital. Very Wolverine looking scene, but nevertheless, I think he was turned down. And something fell through. He was supposed to do a Depp movie. Perhaps Cox blamed Depp for him not getting cast in something, and he just thinks he's, it's just very strange. He was also in the 25th Hour.
Okay.
Ed Norton, Spike Lee movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, and his big thing now is he talk about lazy acting. He's in those McDonald's commercials where all he does is this. Da 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 da.
I can do that.
In a lazy British accent. Da 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 da. It does a very, very like late 20-second voiceover, and gets paid God knows what for just going da 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 da. I'm coxing it.
Oh my God. Well, I wish him luck, as I do with our favorite commenter on YouTube. I wish them both luck and a happy life. So, Cockman, good luck to you. Be happy.
Let's. Well, he also too he thinks that Depp's so radioactive, as it were, and then he won't have to worry about being blackballed in Hollywood if we're taking shots at him because it's safe to do so now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He can't. He feels Depp can't hurt him working.
Well,
it's also probably an agency thing. I bet you there's some mutual agents involved. Could be Tracy Jacobs. You just don't go after someone like that for no reason.
No.
Someone as beloved as Depp, who you can count the people who don't like him on not even one hand. I mean, I barely can pull up 4 people. Michael Madsen was one of them. Charlize Theron was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And now Tracy Jacobs, but just very few people dislike him. To say beloved is an understatement.
Well, and Ellen Barkin doesn't like him, but that's for
Ellen Barkin, yes. But that's that kind of love torch thing. I almost don't count. Yeah. But even his exes will sing his praise. So Ellen Barkin certainly counts when we do the Depp episode of people who don't like Depp.
Yep, we have transcripts.
She definitely is right in there. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole other Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas twist they had.
I still have to watch that. So
did you really not see that?
I don't care about Hunter S.
What do you mean you don't care? Just the performance alone is worth the price of admission. It's a Slavish adaptation of a book that seemed unfilmable. Oh my God! And that, by the way, the Rolling Stone article, much of the Viper Room stuff is when they were kind of shooting that. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see it on this or next time.
We'll see it at some point. I don't know which part.
Okay.
So maybe this part. I kind of forget. So let's get this episode started, because this is only part 1 of 2 parts, because there is so much to talk about. I think in this first part we're going to talk about the Viper Room, but we're going to do a little bit of history, what it's like then, what it's like now, the debauchery, sex, drugs, rock and roll, and how it's kind of
gambling rings too.
Yeah,
a supposed big celebrity gambling game that went on in the basement.
Mm-hmm. I think part 2, it might be the darker episode about.
I'd like to get someone we could do like an interview, a Stuttering John, or there's a musician, someone we mutually know on Gunk, that has a friend who played in a band that played who worked there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he didn't know if he wanted to come on. He said I could interview him like through email or something and ask him a batch of questions.
Okay.
Which would be really interesting to get an insider.
Mm-hmm. I'm not giving names. Speaking of interviews, we have a few that are almost a done deal. So talking about producers, maybe former producers, actors. I mean, Richard.
Talk about PH.
Richard Grieco. But hey, maybe. I'm just throwing a name out there. It may not happen. Who knows?
He'll insist we talk about mobsters and if looks could kill the whole. Oh, by the way, that was another thing. We talked about Depp and Christian Slater's another guy that doesn't like Depp.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Slater. Depp was supposed to do the Slater role in Mobsters and turn that down.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so he would have worked with Grieco. What?
Depp also took someone from Christian Slater.
Yeah, the Winona Ryder we talked about last time.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll start this now. I swear to God. So the Viper Room. I have a video here. It's a few things as usual, just spliced together. But we've got some performances. It's very difficult. These are more recent performances. I think the earliest I have here is Johnny Cash. It's just a quick little blip. But Johnny Cash in '93 doing his American Recordings show.
I hurt myself today.
I think it's even before then.
See if I could feel.
We've got a cover band. We've also got the last performance we have is kind of what the Viper Room seems to be these days, which is just a bunch of housewives getting together to ogle men, maybe strippers, bachelorette party type things. So we'll start that. And then we're going to watch a documentary on the Viper Room, just like the first 10 to 15 minutes of the documentary. We're going to cover a chunk of that today and a chunk of it in part 2 when we get into the darker stuff.
Like I've said, I think 3 times on here, I just do not feel there is a proper Viper Room documentary done. I don't think there's half-assed, half-baked versions of it.
I think this is
not
one of those.
ever good enough for me.
I had to cut.
This is kind of our attempt with that. You were there once. I've never been there. You actually passed it or something, went outside.
I didn't. I was with somebody who was more interested in getting to Universal Studios than getting out on Sunset Boulevard and actually having fun. I know.
Yep.
This was 2004, by the way, that I was there, and I've been looking for a picture.
He'd sold it by then, so he was off.
I know.
He'd sold it.
I know. He knew I was on the way, and he took off.
That sucks. What a bad year to go there.
Yeah. That's the trip. That's the same trip where I had a disastrous meeting with Trent Reznor. So that was just a disaster all around. And it was the early days of my future marriage.
Like me going to a Sonics game, and that's like me going to a Sonics game in 2010 or something.
Yeah. When they're literally
they're in Oklahoma.
They're literally taking half court off the court to demolish the building, and you go.
I want to see Sonics game.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get this started here. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'm starting.
Booney rat buddy for a year and them. He said, I think my country got a little off track. Took him 25 years to welcome me back.
I gotta say, I don't get it with Johnny Cash. I know the late
Johnny that's Cash. Your opinion. Go ahead. Don't go all Viking on me. Go ahead.
Great. I'm happy. He's the hero to a lot of my musical heroes. Okay.
No, I don't even buy
Hurt
that.
Was all right. You didn't write it. You did a good version of it. All right.
I don't even buy that. I think there was this thing. I don't know if you remember. Certainly, God, right around this time, certainly into the late '90s and some of the 2000s, there was this retro hipster retro thing to be into Johnny Cash.
Mm-hmm.
People who are way too young for his music now pretended to be super into Johnny Cash to give them some kind of weird retro cool factor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it started. I feel like it started here, and it became, like I said, people who were in their 20s are going pretending to be these Johnny Cash fans. And I don't know, what the peak of his career was, but you could see that coming, and I just never bought into it. I guess there's an audience for this, but it's too damn slow and too damn. I mean, I don't know if we're pretending is this is he being punked here? Is this like a weird, what I'm saying? Is it really he's being trolled in a way?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Look at us. We love this. Bring out this like a novelty kind of thing. They would never admit to that.
Yeah. This is 93. This is right after Depp has bought the Viper Room. So he's starting to already pack in the names. The list of bands that played back in those days, it's hard to find.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's almost impossible to find video of that. I would have loved to have done that. So, okay, let's get this going here.
But it's better than...
This is just a Nirvana cover band. I threw it in. This is a song called Freed.
What's the name of the band?
Sliver, after a Nirvana song.
Sliver?
Yes.
Or Slither?
Sliver.
Oh, like the Billy Baldwin, Sharon Stone?
Yes.
Oh my God. I think Depp turned that down too.
Oh God, thank God.
Very possible.
Ugh. I don't get this band. I'll move along here, but I get it's a Nirvana tribute band, but why does everybody have to look like Kurt Cobain? Can't somebody look like
Isn't everything
Chris?
a Nirvana tribute? Isn't everything in the late 90s a Nirvana tribute band? Like Bush isn't basically Bush a Nirvana tribute band?
The brunette Kurt Cobain, or he wanted to be.
Oh my God. I really thought it was Cobain. That's the point, right? That's the point. You want to sound exactly like him.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's a cover band. Oh my God, Baker Street.
These are the
I actually like this song.
Okay, so now, hold on, let me make sure. Okay, so we have some footage from 93. This is like the side entrance. This kind of like on like the alley entrance into the Viper Room. But Johnny Depp is hanging out around outside. This is kind of where the celebrities
is that like Crime Alley in Gotham City?
Yeah. This alley or side street is notorious.
It's the River Phoenix thing. It's right similarity to the Bruce Wayne's parents dying.
Mm-hmm. I don't think any pearls fell on the cobblestone street.
No, there wasn't pearls and heroin fell on the sidewalk.
That's true. This side street is notorious for. There was a fight between Pamela Anderson in the 90s and a paparazzi where he sued her or vice versa. Somebody got money, whatever. This hallway here in this open door you can see.
Did Tommy Lee try to swing his girly punches?
I don't know.
I thought I saw a clip of that. Tommy Lee is his wild girly swings. You know how when musicians, they don't know how to fight, but they think they can fight because they're famous.
Yeah.
And I remember him just wildly swinging in it.
Well, he's built like a spaghetti noodle.
Yes.
But he's been told, for 20 years how great he is. And women falling at his string bean ass at his feet constantly. Whatever. He got Heather Locklear somehow in her prime. And then Pam Anderson. Whatever.
You think at 61 we dropped the soul patch or no?
No.
No, the dyed soul patch.
Him and Nikki Sixx, they're going to be stuck in that costume for the rest of their lives.
Well, Motly Crüe always embodied to me, and I don't hate Motly Crüe. They were certainly. I wouldn't even call them a bridge band. They were heavy metal.
Mm-hmm.
So they really, to me, embodied the Hollywood strip of what we're looking at. Like their music to me was always like, as a kid in Long Island, you're visualizing the Hollywood rock scene and strip. To me, they were like the paradigm of that, the epitome of everything their music was, and the kind of, you know what I mean? It was always like the anthem, take a walk on the wild side, and girls, girls, girls. Didn't it get that from them?
Yeah. I've got I won't say anything bad about Motley Crüe except maybe Vince Neil, but he sucks live. I saw them in 2008 at Crüe Fest up at the Rose Garden, now Moda Center. So I'm not going to pretend I don't like Motley Crüe. I mean, I've got their albums. I've got
massive band,
Shout at the
massive
Devil.
iconic heavy metal band, probably one of the top
I've
5
got
heavy metal bands of all time.
I'm not a super fan. I mean, I've got Saints of Los Angeles.
By the way, in
their last
to
big
Tommy
album.
Lee's defense, we're doing a Depp podcast here. He is a huge Depp fan. In fact, he's been said to do a movie of his life. He keeps pushing Depp as the guy to play him.
Is he going to wear lifts? Johnny Depp's going to wear lifts.
How tall is Tommy Lee?
I don't know, but those legs are at least 6'5".
You think he's 6'5"? I don't think he's that tall.
Look at him from the late 80s on one of those tours where he's playing drums.
They all wear lifts. You're right about that.
He's wearing a G-string, a leather G-string. Those legs go on for days. It is
Depp's height has been a subject of more controversy than Kevin Durant's height. And I've seen him listed at 5'9". I've seen him at 6 foot. I've seen him at 5'11". I've seen him at 5'10". I don't know. I'm going to go with 5'10".
If I can see Johnny Depp in that leather G-string, I think it's even got a zipper in the front.
I was next to Depp for a brief moment in 2002 during Inside the Actors Studio when he was bashing his way out and everyone was mobbing him. He was on his way to his Lincoln Navigator. Yeah. And I decided I was sort of boxing out. Like I was doing my best.
You decided to hold on to the bumper.
I was doing my Dennis Rodman in the middle of it. And I felt very creepy being in the mix like that and asking for an autograph. And I just decided not to.
Yeah, I just don't.
He had his head down. He's bashing forward. Jerry Judge was there. A couple black guys.
Just let him go.
I didn't even ask. I felt so creepy. I just sort of backed off, and he went into the. So I got to look at him physically. I think I'm a pubic hair off 6 foot, and I was probably a little taller than him.
Mm-hmm. I was almost taller than Nikki Sixx. So whatever it says on IMDb, that's not always true. He walked right by me. I was 2 feet from him. I looked him straight ahead, right in the eyes. Didn't look up, nothing. I was in flats. I was so disappointed. Okay, let's continue because we got a long way to go. And you interpret some of this Depp speak if you can.
He does a monologue?
He talks to a photographer.
Okay. It's probably tough to hear, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's classic 93 Depp.
That's who's hair.
Is that Terrence Trent D'Arby?
I think so.
Look at this. This is a great shot. See, this is what kills me now. Like cell phones today, you can have so much more footage of this. I hate that the Viper Room missed the smartphone generation. You can have so much more.
Good night, man. Thank you.
Are these bodyguards or hangers-on or this gaggle of...
He's dressed like Tom Hansen.
Yeah, that's true. He's got the Hansen Jump Street blazer.
What's that, man? It's kind of bright, bro. Video camera. Take it up his face, man. Don't let him get his fucking home movie. Yeah, we'll put it in the mag.
You know what he said there?
Yeah, let him get his fucking home movie.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
He wards off the if you're not seeing the visual of this, he wards off his faux security. I'm not even sure if it's official gaggle of security. And he lets the guy shoot a shot of him and get kind of chat with him a little bit. Pretty cool. I mean, it could be a much bigger asshole if he wanted to be.
Look at that floof on that head. Just totally separated from the scalp with the hair.
I'm trying to think of what the next movie is, and I want to say it's Ed Wood.
No excuse then.
This is the beginning. This is 93. This is late 93.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's filming Ed Wood.
Okay.
That's the hair he had in Ed Wood.
Ed Wood was great hair. No excuse for the floof. Okay.
No, he slicked it back.
Did he really?
If you watch Ed Wood,
you're right.
When the hair dries, the grease, it starts to degrease. His hair flops over. Yeah, it's greased back the whole movie.
Okay, you would know. I've only seen it 15 times, but you still managed to know more than me.
That's your favorite Depp movie, right?
I know, absolutely. Okay.
I might have seen it 15 times in the actual theater.
You probably did.
I think I accounted for like 1/5 the box office in the nation or something.
Yeah.
I dragged my friend to see it with me, and he was glad. He thanked me because he would never have seen it on his own.
It's a great movie. I didn't see it until it was out on VHS because it didn't appeal to me in the commercial.
Fall of '94.
Yeah, I didn't care about Ed Wood. I knew he dressed in pink sweaters. I didn't care to see that at the time. Still don't.
I knew nothing about Ed Wood, honestly.
Yeah.
I know there was some like film nerds, Plan 9 from Outer Space, and they knew the kind of thing I really knew nothing about. And it's like I said, Hollywood film nerds knew the legend of Ed Wood.
Yeah.
And not that I wasn't one, but I was just too young to care.
I fell in love with this movie so hard. I went out. I spent way too much money.
It's a masterpiece.
I spent way too much money on an Ed Wood box set. It came in pink Angora, the box.
Yeah.
I love.
It's quite a cast in that movie. I mean, if you think about,
oh my god,
it's Bill Murray. It's a pre-Sex in the City Sarah Jessica Parker. You have Patricia Arquette. You have Martin Landau, who wins the Oscar for that over Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction. Just on and on and on. Pedophile Jeffrey Jones, George Animal Steel, post WWF turnbuckle munching days. Hadn't seen him in a long time, and he popped up in that. Max Casella, you know him from Doogie Howser. He played. I'm forgetting someone. It's a really good, and even the people who are the bit actors, you know, Mike Starr. Such a good cast. It's just a masterpiece.
It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful black and white movie I've ever seen.
Yep. It made. I remember when the black and white thing. I'm like, come on, black and white.
It puts me to sleep.
It went away. My reservations about that went away. Juliet Landau is an actress in that. She. I'm trying to think of. You'd know her if you saw her. She plays he recasts the role, and she's sitting. She doesn't remember. She goes, "I don't drink liquids, ever. No liquids." You know, Lisa Marie.
Of course.
Yeah, it's so good. But that movie was all about like old Hollywood too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think he's shooting it as this is going on. It was easy for him to pop in the Viper Room while he was shooting. It's completely all shot in Burbank and shit. L.A.
Magazines are those? I work for 25 magazines around the world.
They're all reputable.
All right, let's go now.
He threw a cigarette at him.
Yeah. Thanks, Johnny.
Did he flick a cigarette out?
Yeah, he flicked a cigarette at him.
I couldn't see. It was shaking.
Toward his feet.
Oh my God. It's like Ike Turner, right?
Thanks, Johnny.
Okay.
That's a weird. He had a weird balance there of being cool and an asshole at the same time. He was trying to give him swagger, but he's capitulating to the paparazzi. Some Southern dude. I think that's the TMZ guy, right? Before there was TMZ.
I think so. Yeah.
He had that
National
Southern
Enquirer
accent.
guy.
Yeah.
There were a lot of freelance guys back in those days. Remember?
I remember watching the East Channel, and they had like a kind of a gossip show where.
Yeah.
You remember this? They had like,
of course,
paparazzi.
Don't
stuff
ask me the name of it, but
I forget the name of it. I forget the name of it, and that was like something you'd see on there.
Okay.
Look what we got.
I know. This is the
Around here.
documentary made. I had to cut a good chunk of this documentary because of music. They play Long December. I love that song, but I can't play it. Adam Duritz is the lead singer of Counting Crows. He was just coming off the first album or recording the first album, but to keep his
Yeah,
head out.
he was knee deep in superstardom, like the beginning of stardom. Like when your album hits, the radio's playing it, MTV's got it, everyone's playing, and he's trying to hide almost.
And if we don't talk over it, he will talk about why he hung out at the Viper Room so much. So this is the beginning of it. Gives a kind of a quick backstory on the Viper Room.
Yeah, he does a good job here.
Yeah.
Was sneezing fame all over each other.
Christina Aguilera,
David Arquette, Charlize Theron, Christina Applegate.
I met Jennifer Aniston there.
If you could just get inside, you could let your hair down.
Hidden away from fans and...
Okay, Mark McGrath. Quick thing on Mark McGrath. This guy gets jobs somehow. He has maybe one of the worst broadcasting voices, besides mine, that I've ever heard. He has a morning show on Sirius. I don't know how he's made it this far.
I think he pre-tapes that. There's no way it's live.
No, but the voice is awful.
He epitomizes 90s, one album wonder kind of, and he's got this, he's perceived as having this affable personality.
You know
so
about
he got hot. One of the entertainment shows used him as an anchor?
Extra, I think.
That's right. That's right.
Do you know what's going on with Mark McGrath in his history?
Not entirely, no. I know a little bit about him.
He made an appearance in an adult movie called Backstage something something. And yes, I've seen it. I had the VHS. But he makes an appearance in that. And he doesn't do anything sexual, but he makes a comment where he has a lot of underage fans. He says their target demo is 11 to 17. And he makes a comment about what his rule is for that. It is so vile and disgusting. It has to do with, I'm paraphrasing, what's on a playing field, and that makes it acceptable. That's all I'm going to say. But in this day of Me Too and, trying to make things right with, people, creepers will say, he still gets jobs. I don't get it. So that's all I got to say on Mark.
Well, it's the Hollywood networking machine. He was part of that crew. We always talk about every time Howard goes to L.A., Kimmel makes him a party. And as Monique and I were talking about, there's this network of friends who are part of this Kimmel crew that, however, 6 degrees of Jimmy Kimmel or whatever, and they're all at this. And he's one of those people that is in that weird circle that's at this party. So it's like you network yourself properly, you get jobs you don't deserve. Your buddy John Mayer once had a great quote that I liked. He said that people in Hollywood think that because you're famous in one area, like you're an actor, it somehow gives you this all access pass to be something you're not. And now I'm a musician. Oh God, I'm Bruce Willis. Now I'm gonna. No, you have no musical talent. You're not. You know how many people? Hey, what, Bruno? You gonna make a Bruno comment?
He was nice to me. Be good.
No, I'm complimenting John Mayer. He's saying that Mark McGrath thinks he has this all access pass. Well, I had a hit album in the 90s. Now I can host a extra and I can be an act. It's like it's not the same skill set. It's like if an NBA player said, "No, when Michael Jordan became a baseball, he was thumped out of Major League Baseball because he hit 190 in Double-A."
I was cutting you off at the pass because you have said bad things about John Mayer before, and I will not allow it.
It's not all. I'm going to compliment when I see a compliment is due, and I like that quote. I remember reading that somewhere. I thought that was great.
Well,
it was taking that. It was kind of a shot at Depp in a way.
I know. We thank you,
backward way.
Johnny, and I thank you for that. We appreciate it. Okay.
Paparazzi, the shadowy corners and back rooms of the Viper Room are also a new safe place to indulge in an old and dangerous vice.
Suddenly suddenly heroin started flowing into LA.
It felt like we were living through like an epidemic when you have friend after friend die.
An investigation is underway into the sudden death of one of Hollywood's brightest young stars.
I opened the door to Sunset Strip and
Sarah.
I looked down.
I'm sorry. Did you say the real Nirvana did play there at one point?
No, not that I know of. Hole played there. She did a Q&A at some point with her solo album there.
But Kurt Cobain's never been there on any level.
I don't believe so. He died in early '94.
If they don't get to the origins, yeah, he'd right. So the Viper Room was open just before. He would have a mere couple of months to even.
And they were doing a European tour. I don't think before they came back to the States. I don't think they ever played there.
I mean, how deep do we want to get into the River Phoenix stuff now? Is that for next time? Or
I want to do that next time because there's a lot to cover on that.
I just want to, because if they don't go in, you know, do you have in this, and you've done a really nice job in this video so far, about Depp's origins and the Viper Room and how why, and is that in this?
They cover it the best that they're going to cover it.
Okay, okay, we'll speak to that, and I'll talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But the River Phoenix thing, I did not put that in this part. That's going to be in part 2.
Okay. Good.
And I saw who it was, and I was like shocked.
I say that, but here they're mentioning it. This is quick. They go into it much more later.
Adam Dervitz says, I watched a little of this. He says that the River Phoenix thing was almost like a fucking crazy calling promotion. It was like it put it on the map in a way, in the worst possible way. It was like advertising for it.
I am probably looking to forward to part 2 more than this part, because there's so much to delve into with the dark side of this bar. It's amazing.
October, Halloween.
Yep. You must get over here, please. You must get over here, please. Is your brother's having a seizure? Yes. How old is he? He's 23. 23? You know,
that's Joaquin.
Yes.
Okay.
Of Parenthood fame.
As time goes on, people get remembered for like one thing. 50 years from now, the Viper Room, it's the place where River Phoenix died.
23-year-old River Phoenix collapsed outside a Los Angeles nightclub early this
morning.
Brian
Williams.
I know.
Witnesses say he appeared high on drugs.
Fans have been gathering outside the nightclub where the 23-year-old actor collapsed and died on.
Why do people bring their kid? A little baby.
When you showed me Brian Williams, and again, I think we could do a show on this. You know, Depp developed this weird friendship with, a lot of people don't realize, Don Rickles. And Don Rickles had a tribute on Spike TV. It was almost like a roast, but it was more of a tribute to him. And it is the strangest. And Depp went to this thing and did like a spot. He was very awkward and
you sent
likable. He was trying. There's a lot of big time comedians were there.
Wasn't Succubus in the crowd?
The Succubus is in the crowd. That'll make you, if you don't hate her, just the fact that these Don Rickles super fans out there, and there are many of them in the comedy circles, I get watched to see the Succubus in the crowd at a Don Rickles tribute. It will make you just hate her.
Imagine had he gotten a whiff of her, the way he would have cut her at the knees and just left her crying on the floor.
Oh, Rickles?
Yeah.
I know. Don Rickles in his prime, dressing down the Succubus would be the most glorious thing, especially if he was still alive when this happened. Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. And anyway, Brian Williams was at this tribute, and Brian Williams did a magnificent job. I think he emceed it. He and Seinfeld did. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember. I did see it.
No, he just did it. He just did a very, very, very smooth, underrated, straight man, funny as fuck during this thing. He comes out and he goes, yes, don't adjust your televisions. You are watching Spike TV. And that Brian Williams, like news delay, it was just great. He hosted Saturday Night Live once and did a great job. Yeah. And he and Depp were really chummy during that. I'm like, I never in my life thought I would see Depp and Brian Williams in the same function, palling around, taking pictures. And it was like, I was really cool to see Depp in a different, there were people I'd never seen him with before. And again, if you're listening to this, watch the I think I have it on hard drive if it's still around. The Don Rickles tribute on Spike TV. It's like a really, really good. It's like Jon Stewart, Seinfeld, Tracy Morgan, Depp, Brian Williams, Robert De Niro, Scorsese. It's a really like a jam A-list pack thing that no one saw. And I can't believe it didn't get bigger coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Early Sunday.
I think the 90s Viper Room, without a doubt, it's intertwined fully with the death of River Phoenix.
What is that
That's,
accent?
I think what most people
What's that eye makeup?
What's
would
that
know
accent?
about
You
it.
think the eye makeup's affecting her accent?
I think she can't get past this era. She's living in the time. Oh God, this is her identity.
Who is this? Who is that?
She'll get into it. Don't worry.
The Viper Room might have been a lot more underground for a lot longer if River hadn't passed away. That was a big thing that made it infamous, maybe, instead of famous.
Well, it looks like
when
Depp.
it's all said and done, I hope the Viper Room is remembered for something other than River Phoenix, because it was so much more to a lot of people.
Which is
One
why there
reason
needs to
that
be a
the
huge
Viper Room
docuseries.
is so important to people has to do with the street it's located on.
The Sunset Strip is an area of Sunset Boulevard, which is one of the truly longest streets in Los Angeles. It goes from East LA to the ocean. My name is Pleasant Gaiman. I'm a writer and performer, and I spent 4 decades of my life hanging around on the Sunset Strip. I'm a Hollywood icon. Kiss the hem of my dress. Since the late 30s and early 40s, the Sunset Strip was always populated by a lot of nightclubs. Some of them are legendary in rock and roll circles.
In the early 90s, you had the Whiskey A Go-Go, the Roxy, and those were like prestige places. And then Gazzari's, which was catering to a heavy metal crowd.
There's Guns N' Roses. They're the band of the 90s.
Did you like the new material?
Oh, God.
Did you have that hair?
That hockey hair is really holding up. I'm sure he still has it.
Do you think that feather on the side is natural?
He looks like Rick Springfield and Ron Duguay at a kid.
How long do you think he had to heat up the curling iron to get that? Oh my God.
MTV News too. Covering that.
Oh jeez. Memories.
Guns N' Roses were the biggest band in the world, and they came
That's
out of Sunset
they're such
Strip.
a bridge band, right?
Yeah.
My name is Randall Slavin, and I'm a photographer, and I've been taking pictures for as long as I can remember and compiled some of my favorites.
These are some mediocre pictures. That's all I gotta say. If this is your bread
Well,
and
that's
butter,
what I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it. The shitty thing about the Viper Room missed the era of technology where we could have captured so much more of what went on in there, even on the street or whatever, people with smartphones and God knows what. I wonder if they would have banned smartphones from that club itself or no. I don't see that being possible, or people there would have been workarounds, but at least you would have on the street stuff and in its prime. And this is 2021 is not its prime. Its prime was the 90s. And if smartphones, I'm always a little bitter that technology wasn't further along when I was in my 20s. I wish the internet was full. I wish I was a teenager and had the fucking internet, you know, like the stuff, not for no other reason than just information, things, those bored moments when you had nothing to do. But in addition, to have technology further along, be it the internet or just smartphones, you'd have so much more documentation and on video of the Viper Room and what's gone on. And I feel cheated. We can only get gleaned so much. It's not like these people are dead, but now we have to hear the stories instead of seeing it. And they have some footage, but who's running around with a whatever camera back then, filming stuff in and out of the Viper Room?
Favorites in a book called We All Want Something Beautiful.
Benicio.
Everything was heavy metal. A lot of Harleys and hairspray and fishnets.
But that begins to change. A new sound can be heard on the Sunset Strip, and it'll set the stage for the Viper Room.
Coming out of the 80s, which was one of...
What?
Doesn't Mark McGrath sound a lot like Henry Rollins?
You think so?
That raspy fucking, yeah, he does. Just take this. Go.
Okay.
Most
Sorry.
debauched
bumped it.
times ever. And even into the early 90s, there was a lot of musical things going on.
Were you ever into Jane's Addiction?
A little bit.
More
My
than
favorite
me?
song is a song called, I think it's actually Porno for Pyros. It's
Mhm.
called Tahitian Moon.
I have that. I was just going to say that's part of my little story here.
I think it's far and away better than anything else Jane's
Yeah.
Addiction did.
I was never into Jane's Addiction. I had a mad crush on Dave Navarro later until, again, I
I
found
like
out
Pets too.
I found out he was 5'3" or something, and he was a heroin addict. But I went to Seattle after graduation on a trip, and I bought a Porno for Pyro CD because I wanted, so stupid. I wanted to buy a CD in Seattle. I thought that would be special. Don't
Yeah,
ask
it's
me
cool.
why.
No, I
was
agree with
18.
you. Yeah,
So
I would have done that.
that's the album I bought. He's like in this dress. It's got like a train of oranges or something. That was the only good song on the album. So ever since then,
I can't swim under the Tahitian moon. The music, the instrumentals in that are the guitars give you the chills. It's
yeah,
so good.
absolutely. It's a great
It's
song.
such a good song, and the drums, everything,
I
all
jumped
the
at-
arrangement. I actually like Pets too.
Yeah, that's
Not quite as
okay.
much as that. It's different. Where is Perry Farrell from?
No, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
So why did you buy some non-Seattle thing in
I know.
Seattle?
Because I think I had all the other ones.
Okay. I'm just out on a limb. He's from the LA area. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
One of, like
I'm sure
Chili
he is.
Peppers.
Dave Navarro's from LA, so yeah, I'm almost
They're
positive.
awful.
Yeah.
There's way more people from that immediate area than you think.
Yeah, Courtney Love's not from Seattle. She's from LA and maybe sometimes Portland, depending on who she's talking to.
she's the NBA Pacific Division.
Yeah.
All rolled into one. She just toured the Pacific Division teams.
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
When Jane's Addiction came in the early 90s, that was the new wave. They were cool and they were different and younger and felt like a whole different kinds of energy. And that's when things changed.
But it was a moment where, sort of like, yes, this is the non-hair metal alternative that we've been looking for.
In the early 90s, the grunge movement.
I was looking at this earlier. I own like 4 of those albums.
I just found a Courtney Love quote. She goes like this. She goes, this is a real thing. She goes, I'm the fucking Clippers. I'm the Trailblazers. I'm the Sonics. I'm the Warriors. I'm the Lakers, man. I'm the Kings. I'm whatever the fuck I want to be.
That's very close to how she actually talks, especially back in the 90s.
That's her Courtney cadence, right?
Yeah. Oh, God, look at that music. It's so great. I miss it. Okay.
Movement invades the Sunset Strip on its way to changing rock and roll. But it's changing Hollywood too, as many young actors fall under its spell.
Jared Leto.
There was a lot of people that had been involved in one facet of show business, as in movies or television, who were now exploring rock and roll.
Juliette Lewis.
Like I remember Juliette Lewis
God.
had a band
Co-star
for
of
a
what?
long
What's
time.
Eating Gilbert Grape?
Jared Leto was always playing in bands.
Other actors who dabble in music are
Dabble.
Keanu Reeves,
Stuttering
with
John.
Rockstar,
Stuttering John.
River Phoenix as frontman for Alakazattic, and Johnny Depp with his band P.
I've got to find footage of P. That's gross.
I had the album.
Did you really?
Yeah. There's a song called I Save Cigarette Butts. That's
IP.
Gibby Haynes from the Butthole Surf. Flea's in the
Oh,
band.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
Sal
yeah.
Janko. You could find their stuff. It's not hard.
I just want live footage. I don't want the album.
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know if I've seen them.
For this,
yeah,
I
there's something
tried.
on them.
I
There's
could not
something on
find
there.
anything for this video, so I had to deal with this.
Apparently, Gibby Haynes was like some crazy talented high school quarterback.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, researching who he was. He's from Texas,
You know,
Austin, or San.
I learn at least 24 things every time we do a podcast. I go.
Well, I mean,
in-
this is just. I don't even consider it useless because it isn't.
It's
Not
not.
to me, it's not.
There's no such thing.
When you're this, Depp heads, we would just read everything you could. So if he was friends with someone, I would read up on who they were when what's his name from the Lemonheads, Evan Dando.
Yeah,
he
Evan
was
Dando.
in rotation with them for a while. Oasis. It was like he's a strange, almost like a groupie.
Mm-hmm.
And this club, we should mention, if they don't get to it here, he opened this club so he could sort of live out that, as a kid and as a late teens, 20-something, touring, running around Florida playing with the kids. He'd be like, wow, probably dreamt of having his own club. And I was like,
he
what
could
if
get on
I
stage
could run? You got it
anytime.
right.
They can't tell him
And,
no.
Anyone, I've never been there, but all I hear is you'll be surprised how small it is.
It's
so
a closet.
According to Xavier, the maximum occupancy is 200 people.
That shocks me.
My question is, how Depp has no intention of making money with this thing, because if all you could fit is 200 people, how do you really turn a huge profit? That what is it, like a $200 cover charge and
according to
alcohol sales? And
according to something that will be mentioned at the very end of this show in a preview for part 2, and also mentioned in part 2, there was money, but it was funneled in possibly bad directions. That's all I'm going to say. We'll get into it later.
Oh yeah, I've heard those. Right,
There's
like
a lot
a
of money,
drug
apparently.
haven. Right.
Yeah.
So,
what?
No, nothing. I'm just saying something, because at that point, in his business relationship with that Anthony Fox, he was not demanding. I mean, I think he certainly made 7 figures on Scissorhands. He had Benny and June, which I think he probably made 7 figures on that, or damn near. Mm-hmm. He had, I don't know, the Jump Street money, if he burned through that by now, but he was in no position to be buying clothes, I don't think.
Yeah.
Unless he was getting, that was the lower end of his salary quotes. I don't think he made a ton off Ed Wood, and
Sal Janko didn't pay for 95.
all the Blowfish residuals, all those Blowfish residuals paying for
every time he blew on that glass, like your avatar, he got an extra $20 a month. So.
Oh my God. Yeah. So he opens this club, and it'd be like if. But the quote was like, I just wanted this intimate place my friends could come in and play music. His motivation was that guy Chucky Weiss. I guess Chucky's in love. I think that's the inspiration for that. I don't even know anything about this guy, so I don't know. Depp is obsessed with this wheat musician Chucky Weiss. I really don't know. I just saw his name over and over again reading Deppographies, and he would see him play at some other club. And that footage, that Jonathan Ross interview with her in the convertible, he goes to see Chucky Weiss play at the climax of this thing. Is he, Dennis Leary, and Jonathan Ross go to this club to see Chucky Weiss play on a Monday night. Apparently this club closed, and now it was Depp's mission to find a place for this guy to play. And so that was one of the inspirations for opening the Viper Room.
Mm-hmm. While it's on my brain, will you remind me before we end this part 1 that I need to read the question that we actually received to our email?
Oh, right.
Okay.
Manson?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Phoenix and Johnny Depp, they originally started off thinking they were going to do music.
How you doing that, Johnny?
And then they discovered, I'm really good at this other thing.
Who's that? Is that Gibby Haynes in the car?
I think so.
What is that, a Porsche?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a gearhead. I can't just look at the fucking frame and go.
He borrowed it from Seinfeld. He's probably wearing white sneakers too. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Alternative musicians in cars getting coffee, getting heroin.
Okay.
But he was on a long-running TV show, 21 Jump Street.
Yay!
But in Hollywood at that time, being cool was just as important as being a big movie star, and he was very cool.
Johnny?
Yeah. I like this journalist.
At the height of grunge in 1993, Johnny Depp buys the
that hair,
a dirty little live music club in the heart of the Sunset Strip.
The Central was a dive. It was just a place to play.
By the time that Johnny Depp bought the Central and changed the name to the Viper Room, I think there was a couple of different camps going on because the Central had been a really popular club. And so the people that played it thought it was going to turn into like what would now be known as an A-list venue, you know, snobbish and not rock and roll enough.
The Central was also the spot where singer-songwriter Chucky Weiss played.
There he is.
You may not know him, but Johnny Depp was a big fan.
Of course.
When they're getting ready to sell the Central, and that was going to be the end of Chucky's gig. And I think half the reason Johnny bought the place was to keep a club open so Chucky could play.
By the way, I'll put a link at the end of this podcast that will take you to this T-shirt. That's all. That's
Yes, I have the T-shirt.
Are you wearing it?
It is cool. I'm wearing it now, and it's my favorite shirt right now. Well, yeah, I don't know. It might be top 3.
Good.
I always wanted a
turned out
Viper Room
great.
shirt. I always wanted a Viper Room shirt in the 90s.
This is
and my
almost
dream came true.
This is almost the exact shirt, what you're looking at on the screen right now. So it turned out great.
Well, the weird
Better than I
irony,
thought.
right? So he's trying to create a place, a non-pretentious anti-celebrity place, which backfired immediately. It became the coolest place in Hollywood. Almost a cliche to mention it, right? The VIP is in the name.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that some strange irony?
That's
In 2 weeks, every A-lister is inhabiting of the 200 occupancies. Like, the entire Screen Actors Guild is there.
That's what he wanted, to be honest. So
it has to be. Who are his friends?
Yeah.
You want your friends there. They're all famous. What do you think's going to show up?
Exactly.
Johnny came in and took it over. It became this special sort of like cool underground kind of like almost like a speakeasy, which he obviously was very into. And the biggest, most gigantic rock stars were coming to perform at this little tiny club of only 200 people. I mean, you couldn't fit any more than 200 people in this nightclub, and that is packed.
And like for opening night, sort of like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers owe me a favor, so they'll like play the opening
Into the Great Wide Open.
And because it's this small room, it becomes this like little
oh, is that what's his name?
They didn't have.
Oh gosh.
Oh, the black. He was in Iron Man 1. He played a very miscast James Rhodes War Machine. He should not have ever gotten that role. I don't know what the fuck.
Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence. Oh god damn! Why can't I think of his name? Yes, Terrence.
I'm blank.
Oh, it's bothering the hell out of me. Now I'm going to be stuck thinking about that the whole.
I know, and somebody's going to get it in 2 seconds. Sorry.
I know.
He had issues too, by the way. So, but anyway.
Anyone that they didn't want to.
There was this sudden new renaissance of young Hollywood people that just wanted to go out and have fun. And in some places, they couldn't.
Leonardo, tell us about Johnny. Oh, what do you want to tell us? We just want you to tell us how much fun it was working with Johnny. Great. Come on.
Terrence
Johnny
Howard
Depp could be in
Yeah,
his
thank you.
office, looking at the camera, telling the person at the door, let that person in, don't let that other person in.
Hey, looking nice. Thanks, bro. The reason
Foot
that
fetish.
Nightclub became a haven for famous people
Is it sneaker fetish?
is because
Foot fetish. Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish, allegedly.
From Uma Thurman, size 14s.
From her Kill Bill's damp, sweaty socks. Post-production socks.
Well, that was very interesting footage right there. You see like a What's Eating Gilbert Grape aged Leonardo DiCaprio, probably just post off filming that, hanging out. And he's part of those poker games, right? Those underground poker games. Tobey Maguire, Affleck, who's a real poker head. I mean, he's like the very top of the food chain of Hollywood poker, Ben Affleck. And
we'll get into that
see
too.
Tarantino's coming off, probably just finished filming Pulp Fiction in between Reservoir Dogs. He's always been a director that's never got it together to, he's always wanted to have Depp in a movie, and it just never worked out.
You want to know somebody who's got a lot of secrets about Hollywood, who knows names and has probably been through the ringer himself based on rumors and things I've seen? Leonardo DiCaprio. I can't look at him and not feel bad for him. There's a video of him that was on an E special about growing pains. Where
the guy from
Brian
Dan
Peck.
Schneider. Yeah. Brian Peck. Right. He's giving him like a.
He is all over him, and it is.
He's
so
massaging his
uncomfortable.
pecs in the actual video, right?
He's touching him. He's basically hanging on his back, and he's a little boy. It is so disturbing. I don't know how E can look at this, air it, let alone not call the police.
I
But
know,
go
the
ahead
lack
and air
of
it. It is so
self-awareness, and
Ugh.
just how senile and blind, the blind spots, the senility of lacking any kind of awareness of what was going on. It's bizarre to see that.
Horrible.
Because of how protected they felt. There was
Sharon
definitely
Stone.
a sense of like,
She
if
was
you
everywhere.
could just get inside, you could let your hair down.
Toby
There was
Maguire.
just fame spraying. Like, everyone was sneezing fame all over each other. It was just a lot of famous people. And they were all cool. And it was like we were all in this room together and we just got to hang out and talk.
Inside the Viper Room was very insular and very protected. And famous people were no
Charlize
different than everyone else inside because you weren't the only famous person in there.
That was the only game in town for young Hollywood.
Matthew
They were
Perry.
hanging out there trying to elude fame.
Cigarettes in one pocket, pills in the other.
Is that what you saw? That's Cameron Diaz.
I
You
saw
can
the
almost-
cigarettes. I can imagine.
Depp has a weird friendship with Matthew Perry, which surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. You just like, you don't think of them, and I certainly haven't seen it recently, but there's a shot of them with their arms around each other. Matthew Perry was on a show.
90210.
No. Before that, one of the original Fox program, which Jump Street launched.
Oh, yeah.
There
Okay.
was some buddy comedy he was
Yeah.
in during that time,
Oh,
and I think a lot of
remember-
those actors knew each other.
I remember Alien Nation and 21 Jump Street, besides the obvious.
You didn't watch Gary Shandling show?
No.
Oh my
no.
God, is that fun? You should watch it today. Oh, good Lord, is that funny? He's the first show to like break the fourth. I think Seinfeld bit off the Gary Shandling show. Dare I say?
I didn't watch Seinfeld.
So he's
either.
playing a comedian. He's doing nothing. His friends are around. It's just a lot of, he broke the fourth wall on that show. Like it's such a funny show.
Mm-hmm.
Real good. The guy
I've said-
who played his best friend, Pete Schumacher, was the doctor in Blow that told, I think his name, Michael Tucci is his name. It told George, he's got to go. He goes, George, you're a father now. You can't be doing, you got to calm down.
Yeah, that didn't work.
I have no interest in whether you live or die, but you're a father now, George.
You are crazy good with line readings. I'm going to take advantage of that.
It's like,
soon.
I've seen Blow about 100 times.
Yeah.
While at the same time, their very appearance there was what caused so many people to flock to the Viper Room. It was like its own little secret in giant 5-story high lime green neon air quotes.
My skin crawl.
So bad at it. Sorry.
Mostly
What does he say there?
Fame was making his skin crawl.
Yeah, I don't blame him in that environment. And again, he's right. He does a really good job here, by the way, Adam Durovitz.
It's a bad edit because Long December just ended.
Okay, so you're
in
getting the
back.
music.
I can't play
Okay.
it, so I had to cut it.
No, okay, I understand.
I think now he's going
But
to get into how he kept his feet on the ground.
But again, before you get into Durovitz, like Depp's opening this club, and his intention is to have this place where, quote, his friends, and they're all famous, can come and hang out and play, and it's going to be intimate, but it's right on the Sunset Strip, and all your friends are famous. It'd be like if I'm at the height of like basketball as a player, just wanted to play all the time. The height of, say, like in my late teens or something, early 20s, late teens, and I said, and I became this like famous actor, and I said, I'm gonna buy a place like these have these complexes now, like LA Fitness has courts. I've never played there, but apparently they have courts. And in Long Island, there's a place called North Sport, and it's indoor basketball facility with, like, 2 courts or whatever. In the city, in New York City, Chelsea Piers, there was a place called Basketball City, and it had like 6 courts. And I bought a place like that. And I said, I'm going to buy a place where all my friends and I could just play basketball all day and no one's going to bother us. But it was like right in the heart of, and eventually word got out and NBA players started showing up, and it became, like a novelty where, like, you could go there and you could play against, Clyde Drexler in a game and Xavier McDaniels on this court. And it'd be, like, of course, how would I not know that was going to happen?
It just goes along with the whole, there's a persona, and then there's the persona he's trying to live up to, because which he got from doing these obscure roles. But then there's the real guy who can't live up to the persona, and the truth seeps out under the door, and he can't help himself.
Yeah, there's no great example of that than the Viper Room, because I don't know how you think you're going to open a club on the Sunset Strip with all your friends are famous, and that's not going to become the norm, and that's not going to become the clientele and who goes there, and it's going to turn into exactly what you claimed you didn't want it to become. Just own it. Just own it. These are my famous friends, and I want a place. But I mean, you're not underground. How could you call it underground if you're just like in ground zero of the Sunset? You've been there. I haven't. Is that not ground zero of the famous Sunset Strip where tourists go?
Debauchery on the corner of deviancy. So it is, you get out of the car on that street. I went to the Tower Records. It's maybe 3 blocks away.
Yeah, that's in the Tom Petty Into the Great Wide Open video.
Yeah, you feel, this is so lame, but you know what happened there, especially in the 80s. And you just feel, I felt dirty when I was there. I'm not a fan of Los Angeles in general. I was passing through, but you know what happened there. And it's like all the women and what they had to do to even get backstage, and
prostitution on the Strip. And it's crazy. It's the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, as Billy Joe Armstrong. Is that what he's referring to? Or like, you watch the opening of Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle, and Axl Rose gets off the bus, and it's that's kind of what you visualize, all the shattered dreams of great people, artists, really talented people who couldn't make a cent. And his band was one of them, like the Rock City. After the Kids, he joined this band called the Rock City Angels. And apparently they had a chance to be the next Guns N' Roses, and they kind of broke apart, and David Geffen screwed them out of a deal, and it became what they were supposed to do, went to Guns N' Roses instead.
Night in and night out. And a lot of really interesting people that I got to just talk to. It wasn't walking up for autographs. It was talking. And that was kind of what the Viper always was to me. It was this place
Rob
to go
Thomas?
and be.
Yeah.
Matchbox
I thought for 2 seconds I thought it was Ashton Kutcher, and I was like, no, that was.
Yeah, they got a similar the bowl cut of. Yeah, I could see that.
I'm about like 10 years too early for Ashton Kutcher.
I met Jennifer Aniston there because a bunch of my friends lied to me and told me she had a crush on me. And those same friends lied to her and told her I had a crush on her. I honestly had no idea who she was. I'd been on the road during All of Friends.
Okay.
I had never seen it, I don't think. She was really nice, really funny, really pretty. Those are pretty good requirements for me.
She's the Slim Fast girl. That's all you got to know. And her dad was on a soap opera.
Wasn't she in a Leprechaun movie?
Yeah.
Although I gotta say, she had a very talented sketch comedian in her. Let's go back to Fox again. Let's give her credit where it's due. And she can be a very good actor. She's phenomenal on the morning show right now on Apple TV, by the way.
I am enjoying that show more than I thought.
Phenomenal. Oh, if you're complimenting her, I know she's doing a good job. You hate everything.
I don't like Reese Witherspoon, but yeah.
And you hate women. I hate men.
No.
You don't like Reese Witherspoon's brilliant on that. Are you kidding me?
No.
Yes, she is.
No.
You don't think she's great on that? Oh, I disagree. All right. Anyway.
And also,
she was on a sketch show called The Edge, and it was on Fox. It was a Saturday Night Live kind of knockoff show, and there were a million of them. I think before Mad TV, and it was like the Ben Stiller show was also another sketch show. But she was on a show called The Edge, and she did some really, really great impression of Kathy Ireland and fucking Jenny Garth speaking of 90210. They did a great 90210 parody on there. The best I've seen.
Why do I think I've seen that? I don't know. Somebody may have sent it to me.
Yeah, you check it out if you can find it. The Edge.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It didn't last very long, so it's probably because of that. But she's a very nice girl, you know.
The secret sauce of the Viper Room was you had the coolest actor in Hollywood who was dating the coolest girl in the world, who is Kate Moss. And he wants a place to hang out.
Exactly.
And they don't need to make money.
With
You
Viper,
called it.
Johnny Depp
That
creates
guy
a bubble
nails. That
for
guy
his-
does a brilliant job of describing. That was really well said.
Mm-hmm.
You really put that together, and that's what I said it before I even knew who. There's 200 people, right? Maximum. How are you making money? I don't think he cared, and he says there, I don't think he gave a shit what profit it turned. But you have another angle with the drugs. But again, yeah, I don't think it's money even remotely plays a part in this.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably made the most a club like that could possibly make. I would love to know when we get someone on, hopefully for the next show, who's actually been there and stuff in its prime. I want to. What do they charge? He's drinking a Heineken. What do they charge for a Heineken? Is it $12 or is it $5?
As high as they can. I couldn't.
I wonder.
Tell you.
I
I've
don't
never
know.
bought one.
I don't know.
I'd say you're closer with the 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can ask Xavier too, see if he bought anything when he was there.
It was. I think it was Artie Lang said about the Knicks when they started to get really this awful, wretched blight of an NBA team that should be moved to Seattle. That the Knicks should be renamed to the $14 Rolling Rocks or something like that.
You would do anything just to ship Thibodeau off to Seattle, so you wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. I want to
see Nate McMillan or Xavier McDaniel coaching the new Sonics.
All right.
And they go, they get an old Sonic. That'd be great. That'd be so glorious.
Can we have Kevin Durant back?
Gary Payton, someone like that.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think Sean Kim can do it.
Yeah, right. And then Kevin Durant leaves the Nets to go to this new Sonics team.
He doesn't have that anchor anymore, Kyrie, holding him there. So let him leave.
And Pearl Jam plays at their what?
Let James Harden run it. I enjoy his highlights these days. So okay.
And Pearl Jam rechristens them back into the NBA.
Do you know at that museum in Seattle, they changed the name. It's the Pop Culture Museum now.
Okay, that's the title of it?
Yeah, they changed the name. I think
that's very close. It's just called Pop Culture Museum.
I know. Whatever. That's what it is. It's kind of what it is.
Can we get a writer? Can we get a copywriter in on it?
I know.
I would love to have named it.
They have the most phenomenal Pearl Jam exhibit, and I'll say like a fourth of it is just their relationship with the Sonics. It's
I know.
So
all those
great.
Seattle bands, especially Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pearl Jam was
into
really the only one.
Well, they were going to name the band Mookie Blaylock.
Yep.
And they wanted to, and there was some weird copyright thing where I don't know if he didn't give him their blessing but that is crazy. And then the album's 10. It's Mookie Blaylock's number.
Recommendation, since we're on the topic. Pearl Jam put out a few years ago a documentary called 20. Please watch it. It is it's amazing.
I want to watch it again. I saw it, 5 years ago.
Yeah. It almost brings you to tears. If you were a fan of them, at the time, if you still are, it is so emotional. But okay, we'll get back to this.
I like every member of that band too. They all are very down to earth as you could be. From
every drummer they've had.
Yep, every drummer.
Okay, I'm waiting for this to respond. All right, there we go.
Cool A-lister friends where they can feel shelter. But it's just a matter of time before that bubble bursts.
Is that it? Yep. Okay. So that's it for the documentary, the first part. We're going to show the second part. They get into the darker stuff. We're going to show that in part 2 of our episode. This next part is I mentioned before I couldn't find a performance of Johnny Depp at the Viper Room. I had forgotten that I even put this in here. This is a performance, you'd call it. And do you want to give a little background on the Thompson relationship?
Okay, well, most Depp heads know or listen to this. Depp and Thompson have this incredible bromance that started when Depp found him in Woody Creek, Colorado, and tracked him down at a bar with a cattle prod and the whole story. And they're trying to get Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas made with Terry Gilliam. They became fast friends. He lived with him, researching him. He lived with him, I think, for Jesus Christ, I want to say 2 months in his basement.
Okay.
And they hung out all day and night. He went over. Thompson's routine was get up at I think it was 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Oh.
After he went to, and he'd take a bunch of supplements and dousing himself with alcohol and the whole drug list. You've seen it all before, which is kind of tells a lot about what Depp really glorifies today in the transcripts with his drug issues. It's a lot of similar checklist of what you'd see Thompson bragging about in Fear and Loathing. And they would watch sports all day or do something devilish or go to the Woody Creek Tavern, and he'd write. And at the time he was kind of part-timing it, I think, do the occasional piece in Rolling Stone. And Depp was researching him all the while, trying to absorb his soul to do the Vegas movie. And so they became, as Depp is wont to be, lifetime friends. The movie ended. It didn't end there. They called each other virtually every day with long, meandering, crazy phone calls, hung out all the time. Thompson came to LA to do a reading of his own book on the Viper Room stage. And I think there's a video that got leaked, and I don't know, I guess the Rolling Stone guy the people at Rolling Stone must have filmed a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like done in 3 parts, and I put it together, and him hanging out with Thompson during the shooting of the movie. Benicio del Toro's in it, and
Cusack.
What?
Isn't John Cusack in this too?
John Cusack's in the convertible when they get to the Viper Room with the inflatable doll and shit. And
there's video of him going up on stage as part of this. I don't know.
Cusack?
Yeah.
I think he and Depp, they both read passages.
Yeah, you're right.
From the new book, and this is part of this is the beauty of having your own club.
They do,
right? I mean, you just do whatever you want, and this has nothing to do with music. We'll just bring out my favorite writer, and we'll read it on stage and give him the run of the place and pack it out. And Thompson, even way before Depp, Hollywood was very in league with him, or wanted to be, and would come pilgrimages to his place in Woody Creek. Jack Nicholson loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Which you don't see a lot about Nicholson. He's very, very mysterious, and you don't see him interviewed anywhere. But somehow they had a friendship. Don Johnson, who am I forgetting? Bill Murray. Bill Murray did the first Thompson movie. People forget all the time. My friend Brendan, who listens to this, he loves Where the Buffalo Roam, and it is a phenomenal, underrated movie that everyone forgot about. It came out in 1980. Thompson goes to the Super Bowl to cover it. And I think Peter Boyle plays the Del Toro role in it. If anybody can, and he does his own version of Thompson. It's great. It's the wild, fun, funny movie. And Bill Murray and Thompson were really good friends. I think Thompson used to hang out on the set of Saturday Night Live when Murray was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He was friends with Belushi and all this stuff. Thompson was, in fact. And so if anybody can get it, and I have it, if anyone wants to hit me up, I'd be happy to legally give it to you. Where the Buffalo Roam, 1980. And it's got that, that late 70s, early 80s feel to it, that wacky comedy feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't overly reliant on music in the background, and it was very raw. And it's just a great. So Thompson has tons of before, he's friends with Sean Penn, and this is before Depp forged his friendship with him. So he's always had his one foot into Hollywood. They never were able to make, other than Where the Buffalo Roam, They'd always wanted to be. But if you're a Thompson fan, I think, I was disappointed Depp put all his, and this is where the succubus comes in, with the Rum Diary. I didn't think that was a good film to choose. I think you want to do a Thompson piece, do fucking Hell's Angels.
Mm-hmm.
That's a movie.
I barely made it through Rum Diaries.
You know the story?
No, I don't know. I know very little
Thompson
about
went
this
undercover.
relationship.
Thompson, as a Rolling Stone writer, went undercover to write his book, to do piece in Rolling Stone and investigate for his own journalistic research purposes the Hells Angels. And he spent, I don't know how long, pretending to be a Hells Angel for months and months and months. And so you can't tell me that's not a movie.
Mm-hmm. He saw
Depp reprising Thompson. I want to see that so bad.
I would be absolutely. That over Rum Diary.
But he does the Rum Diary because the Rum Diary had never gotten made into a book. And so he found the transcript. He's like, you know what, Hunter? I think this would be a phenomenal book, movie. And he made him like a promise that is, before the suicide note, that Thompson's suicide note is very, very morbid and depressing and sad and the whole thing. And it's a tough read. I mean, I had trouble getting through that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to live to the age he was at. And he was like, what did he say? He said, 70 years old. That's 10 years too much for me.
Mm.
And it was like, that alone just hits you. But that's a guy who, he couldn't keep the youthful, endless 24/7 fun he was having, and he couldn't succumb to being an old man. Some people just aren't built for being 70.
Mm-hmm.
His antics don't make for a good, he's like, I can't. I think it really bugged him. I'm not saying he had a Peter Pan complex. I just think he didn't want to be 70.
Yeah, there are a few of those antics in the beginning of this video. But excellent recap there. Thank you. I learned a bit.
Yeah, like I said, everybody should see where I'm assuming everybody saw, except you, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Everybody should also see Where the Buffalo Roam, because the last thing I'll say on just when Depp agreed to do Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he had a call from Bill Murray, and Bill Murray said, the next movie you do better be something completely antithesis of what Vegas is, because you are going to not be able to shake Thompson's essence out of you. He has a personality and spirit that inhabits you, that takes you over, that almost enables you to be an I don't give a shit kind of guy, where it envelops your brain. And you're going to be talking like him still. You're going to be walking like him still. It's infectious because you can get away with a lot of shit being Hunter S. Thompson.
Mm-hmm. I will watch
stuff you can't get away with as a civilian. In
honor of your recap, the phenomenal recap, I will watch that movie legally before part 2.
You might. Again, you got to just be into that Thompson world. If you don't
but I will
know
try.
where it's coming from, you might be like, you'd be rolling your eyes and be like, "Oh, what are we doing here?" It's just him covering the Super Bowl, debauchery, chaos, fun, and it's just he's in the. They do a great scene in the beginning of the movie. He's at the Woody Creek house, and you see it makes you want to live there. It's in the middle of snowy Colorado, and he's just got this like compound fortress, and he's shooting the gun in the house, and it's so well done. So underrated.
Okay, I'll give my opinion on the movie in part 2. I'll make it quick. May not be much to say. We'll see.
And again, my friend Brendan made sure that he was the biggest advocate of that movie before anybody I knew of, anyway.
All right, so this video, I think this is going to wrap up our video, and then I will get to that question after we show the preview of part 2. So, all right, let's meet Hunter S. Thompson. Sorry, I even butchered his name.
Oh, this song, Spirit in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Vegas movie. Here comes Depp, Cusack, and Hunter S. Thompson in a convertible. With a blow-up doll.
Hey, Hunter, they're holding the van till you get in.
It said HST sold out.
You think half these people know who he is? Or they're just
Nope.
there to see Johnny Depp?
Yep.
Dude, I'm trying to drive away. You gotta throw your blow-up doll in front of my car. Thanks. Pick up your shit.
I told her. He's fucked up.
There you go. Hunter S. Thompson.
Depp just did a Fred Norris. There you go.
Get too loud.
I'll be
No, not at all.
interpreting for Dr. Thompson.
You go ahead. Hey, right there. You have no place to hide.
You are Wino!
Everybody be careful. Be very careful.
All right, you son of a bitch. You're take this.
I want that cup.
He is nuts. He is nuts. Did you see the I'm sorry. That video is phenomenal. Any Thompson fan, you better watch this. You get to see him just, I guess, just in full chaotic Thompson mode. He does not give a shit. He just loves to break balls in public, wherever, whenever. And they had some media thing where he takes a huge bag of movie popcorn.
Yeah.
And just sprays everybody with it. And
I
it
wanna
wasn't
go through
rehearsed,
that.
and it wasn't. Oh God, was that good? It was
I want to
so
go
funny.
through both of those parts because there's
He's
also,
a madman.
Would you call it home video footage? Because it's from Depp's
Well, I
house.
think I think the Rolling Stone people did it so they could easily write, so he could write the article better. He needed to film it so he could go sit down and go, this is what because there was so much going on.
Is it Kate Moss that's in it? Because there's one of his women, one of his girlfriends are in it. Right?
He is no, he's in between Vanessa and Kate. This is the only year he's just a serial relationship guy, and this is the only year he's not with someone. So that's where the Ellen Barkin thing started.
Okay.
So he's in between Kate Moss and I think it's Thompson's assistant that's with him.
Okay. All right.
I think.
Imagine that job. Okay.
He's in between Kate Moss and Vanessa.
Okay.
During that.
Film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with.
I think this guy's a plant. What do you think? You see in a second, but he asks a question.
Yeah,
about...
we're Stuttering John during this.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, sorry.
Films, except there's a few problems. There's no script, there's no director, and there's no talent. And you're set to shoot January 29th, I hear. Is that true?
I believe that's true.
It could be a regular
I think
journalist.
you have accurate information. And so what?
They throw him out.
I didn't mean to get off on this kind of start.
You want to light him on fire?
I'm not answering the question.
You hear what Depp said?
True, but you're
Yeah, light him on fire.
Yeah, you gonna light him on fire or what?
going up. It's not because of what you ask, it's not because of any elegance or articulation that you have. It's because you seem like a lawyer with a grudge. Right?
Want him out?
I think so, yeah.
All right.
I want to hear him scream. It's just that you...
Weird.
You want him out? Yeah, I'm with the crowd. What are you kicking him out for? What he asked a legitimate question. That's not even, he's not even breaking balls.
Do you think it's part of some performance though? Not for the guy.
That could very well, like a wrestler, WWE kind of thing.
Yeah.
It could be.
I don't know.
It could be.
That's the vibe I get.
There's a lot of people. Bill Maher was accused of that, having plants in his audience that he would kick out. He would yell at them and get a standing ovation.
I believe that. I totally believe that.
Because it just, you're right. Like it was not a hard hitting enough question to kick some. It's a legitimate question that everybody would want the answer. I know I would want to know the answer.
So
he's not disrespectful. He's a little bit snarky, but
yeah.
So what?
He's an asshole.
Can't handle that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Weird.
Just let him.
You're right.
There.
Weird.
Here comes the guy from Better Off Dead. Okay.
This is the litter. And when I was arrested...
biggest Chicago White Sox.
That was last year. It was a bungling, a vicious arrest.
I'm going to buy you those glasses.
What has he got? What is it?
I don't know.
Is it mud flaps or...
Mud flaps.
Is it bat wings?
Butterfly wings?
I don't know.
I don't know either. They're probably 5 cents on the corner.
Political arrest. They were trying to blast me on election night. Which they did, but they were about 3 hours late when he won the election, and say, beat the C Company by a huge margin. I'm a great believer in local politics. So when I was arrested for the same reason, I wrote this letter to the district attorney, and I used, oh, thank you. Yeah. It's to come back as what you deserve to be. Now think about that, Bubba.
It's Clinton. Is he thought William
There
Jefferson?
are people in this room, I would guess, there usually are in most
Roger.
rooms, who will come back as three-legged dogs on a Navajo Indian reservation. Or,
more smoking.
pardon me.
All right, so pause for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You got a good look at Thompson there, who you don't know that well. And everybody has their blind spots as Depp heads. Can you see the similarities in Depp's speech cadence and voice in his normal, how it's can't you see it?
He
Just
is
by watching
so
Thompson?
highly influenced. I think this relationship has
Same
influenced
cadence,
him the
right?
most in his life.
Same, absolutely.
Drug abuse, speech cadence, like what you're saying. I think he's so
The
influenced.
same pauses, the same physical movements, and I don't give it to truly be inhabited by Thompson. You have to be so insouciant. They should call him Hunter S. Insouciant, because he, like, I don't give a shit to do whatever you want, to not care. That he is the paradigm of that, as is a lot of Marlon Brando, Keith Richards, supposedly. So these are his major influences in his life, and you can see it oozing out of his personality all the time. The hero worship. He is very, very, it's impossible to deny it, even no matter how obsequious you are about Depp, no matter how much you want to be an apologist. We're trying to keep it real here. We just sucked his, I mean, I wrote this when I was, the write-up, I was, Facebook? Somewhat trying to promote this podcast. And like, if we were just like, latherers and obsequious, if this is sort of Depp-colored glasses and this is just some kind of fangasm, it would be the most boring thing in the world. You know exactly what we were going to do. We were going to kiss his ass in every way, and everything is great. We're not allowed to be objective or have an opinion. It's just not going to be. It's not what I'm going to do.
No.
I mean, there's things I disagree with.
Yeah.
But that's not something I disagree with. I'm just telling. But there's people who are so crazily. You can't even say something like that where you're like, yes, his personality is majorly influenced by hero. We all hero worship, and those are his heroes, and he has siphoned off and taken parts of each guy and made an amalgam into his own personality. And you could see it by just watching Thompson.
Exactly. Imagine how much this death broke him. If he had attached himself to that level, imagine. I don't think he's recovered.
You bring up a phenomenal point, because I was thinking about that too when Thompson died. I mean, this is a guy you're talking to virtually every day on the phone for an hour, 45 minutes. And he's, like I said, he's inhabited your personality. He's seeped into, and your mindset has been altered by his influences. His death is a big part of yourself dying. You don't have that outlet anymore.
Do you think him
Blood brothers from they're both from Kentucky, by the way, I should say. So there's all these ties. They try to like, oh, we both like this, and we both like Muhammad Ali, and we both like Johnny Cash, and we're both from Kentucky, and we both from, they're constantly trying to create commonalities to make them seem more like long lost. I mean, Thompson's old enough to be I'm trying to think. Yeah, Thompson's about his father's age.
Do you think him taking on the personality, even a fraction of the personality of Thompson to the degree he has, is his way of keeping that father figure alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has multiple father figures. I'm still not clear on his relationship with his own father. I can't quite track it. We can't quite get We know there's abuse in the childhood now. That's come out a little more in the last few years.
He
He
left
left
the
the
house,
family,
yeah.
right, and they moved around. But then, yet he goes to the Hollywood Walk of Fame and poses with his father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't quite. He did a
Sometimes
tribute
you're
to him
obligated
somewhere.
to do that. It doesn't mean you want to do
No,
that.
I know, but I'm saying, like, did they patch it up?
Yeah.
We just don't. And hopefully, the trial will leak some of the. I would love to know more about his relationship with his father. I can't track it. It's all over the place.
Yeah, we'll see. Only a few months to go, so we'll see how that goes.
I know. It's that they'll delay it again. I guarantee the succubus calls another audible.
No, she even
They delay it
had,
again.
she even had a baby to delay it, but
It'll-
we'll talk about that one day.
There, any Indian reservation.
Strange
I didn't
memories
edit this.
on this nervous night in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
5 years later, 6.
He's trying to sound like him here.
Mm-hmm. So he's reading, right? What is he reading?
Yeah, he's reading from his book.
Is it
His
Fear
book.
and Loathing?
Yeah, he's reading from the book.
Oh, okay.
A lifetime, or at least a main era.
Chew that gum.
I know. He also
Nicorettes.
smokes. He smokes in this too while he's chewing the gum.
Can't be chewing gum while you're reading Thompson material.
I know.
The kind of peak that never comes again. San Francisco in the middle 60s was a very special time and place to be a part of. Maybe it meant something. Maybe not in the long run.
Oh.
History's hard to know because of all the hired bullshit. But even without being sure of history, it seems entirely reasonable to think that...
What is that, a first edition he's holding?
Yeah.
It looks like it's 80 years old.
It's got Betty Sue's cigarette ashes from a waitress job.
The pages are made of actual bark from a holy tree. I don't know.
The energy of a
Apparently
whole
his
generation.
brother, you don't discount, like a lot of people listening to this don't realize, Depp's brother is a major influence on a lot of his stuff too. I mean, he doesn't come up ever. He was a co-writer of The Brave, the movie Depp directed in 1996. His name is Danny Depp. And apparently he was a teacher. He's a history teacher, I think, and he moved around a lot. He has a couple books out. He has, I think, 3 or 4 crime novels.
Is he
So
listed
check
in
it
the
out.
lawsuit as a...
He's not brought up a lot in the legal stuff. I don't
Okay.
see his name. You got to do a little research, legwork to find out more about his brother. His brother doesn't come up a lot, but what I do know about him, he's 10 years older. They co-wrote The Brave together. He lived in the same room as him for a while, and I believe his earliest days in Florida. And he's influenced by his brother's music and literature and everything else. So, but I wish I knew more. Again, just like his dad, I wish I knew more about his brother Danny. Again, he's 10 years older, which is a pretty significant generation leap. If brothers are 10 years apart, that's a long time.
That is, I can't imagine. Just even relating on any level.
Yeah,
As a
you're gonna. I
child.
mean, the younger brother is gonna glean, off his older brother's interests just to keep up with him. It's almost inevitable.
Yeah.
Name me any brother who doesn't bite off with his older brother likes.
Comes to a head in a long, fine flash for reasons that nobody really understands at the time, and which never explain in retrospect what actually happened. To his madness in any direction at any hour, if not across the bay, then up the Golden Gate or down 101 to Los Altos or La Honda. You could strike sparks anywhere. There was a fantastic universal sense that whatever we were doing was right. That we were winning.
Yes. He narrates that in Fear and Loathing.
Okay.
That very passage.
Mm-hmm.
Depp's a weird cat on many levels. Sometimes I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if it's affected. I don't know. He's this, and people act like stage fright is some unique phobia. It's not. Like, most people have stage.
Everybody
it's not
has a form
natural
of
to
it.
speak. Right. Everybody's got some form of it. If it's pissing at a urinal, if it's this.
I don't do that.
Speaking in front of people is one of the big. Everyone thinks they're so unique when they say, "Oh, I have a fear of clowns. I have a fear of." Yeah, it's a very it's one of the most common phobias is public speaking, and this is a guy now who's done many, many films, and he's performing in front of tons of crew people. You know, everyone's waiting on him to finish it. Now, why can you do that? But this is a problem. He's scratching his forehead and he can't make eye contact. And he played in a band for years where you're constantly on display, Melissa Gorga. And you know what I mean? Judging us. At some point, are you getting comfortable on this is your club, these are your friends, these are and you're reading this and you're acting like a deer in the headlights. And he's scratching the throat and he doesn't look up and he's chewing gum nervously. And it's like, can't you fucking get it together for this? Seriously. Come on. I know it's charming to be nervous and he has this insane charisma and was supposed to always fall under his smoke. Jesus, can you just get it together for this?
I know.
Is it so hard? A book that you know by heart, too. You shouldn't even need to read it.
Chewing gum while smoking. It is so gross.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I got to clean this guy up. All right. Chomp, chomp.
That's what Tom Manson, right? Chewing gum.
I think was the handle.
That's the accent here.
Sense of inevitable victory over the forces of old and evil. Not in any mean or military sense. We didn't need that.
Nice acoustics at the Viper Room.
Our energy would simply prevail.
All the cigarette
There's no
butts
point in
posing
fighting
as
on our side
phone.
of theirs. We had all the momentum. We were riding the crest of a high and beautiful wave.
Yeah, this is
So now,
beautiful.
less than 5 years later, you can go up on a steep hill in Las Vegas and look west. And with the right kind of eyes, you can almost see the high water mark. That place where the wave finally broke and rolled back.
You see, I love that. I mean, that's a great passage. He reads it though. He acts almost like put upon with the way he's reading. Did you catch him at one point? He goes like this. He goes, and with the right kind of eyes, you can see the high water mark. And he going, why are you huffing? Why are you? This is your thing. This is what you want. This is your hero. You're reading his book. Why are you put upon? Did you hear that huff? He's like,
I know. Even he has his limits with Thompson. No, he doesn't. But I'm going to get to a point, and I promise everybody that when I smell a Depp impression coming on, I'm going to not interrupt and just let him go. That's why you will hear silence. That's what everybody's here for.
And a crowbar.
Right. You ready for a preview? I think that's what's next. It's just
I was like the acoustics, like I said, in the Viper Room was nice sound. It's almost like, like I said, the cigarette butts, the foam and the filter.
But
isn't that what they use now for like podcasts? Like there's foam, or people wanted the best sound. They have the foam.
I don't know how much it helps. I've got a wall of it in this room I'm in.
Oh, you got to take a picture. Okay.
Okay.
Do you think it does anything?
I don't know. I doubt it. I fell into the trap. They say it works, so I got to get it.
There's no proof it works, right? Do
Absolutely
we really know?
Not. No, probably doesn't. It doesn't help my microphone any, so we'll see. Whatever. So unless I've forgotten something I put in this video, I think the next thing is just a few blind items that we can read through real quick here. We'll get into them in more in depth in the next episode. I don't do that as well as you. And then I will read the question that we got, and we'll both give our answers to that. Yours is probably more involved than mine.
No, you know more about Marilyn Manson than I do.
I do, but I don't know that much about some of it. Okay, so let's finish this up and we'll get to the question. Oh, there we go. Okay, so do you want to... Saljenko is your avatar, Jalsenko.
Yeah.
He is Blowfish on 21 Jump Street back in the day. Depp, we'll get into this too in a future episode. Depp did a huge favor for him, got him a role on 21 Jump Street as the janitor, who seems to be in way more storylines than
Well,
what
you know what I
he
realized too, and I
should.
should have said this. We would talk about him a little bit. He basically is the Schneider to the
Yeah,
21, like
perfect.
one day at a time. He's the Schneider of 21 Jump Street,
Perfect.
maintenance engineer.
So Sal Janko is a partner in the Viper Room with Johnny Depp, or was. I don't know how many partners did they have total. Do you know?
Anthony Fox,
Yep,
the
of
guy who
course.
disappears.
We're going to talk
I think
about
it's
him.
just really just the three of them.
Okay, okay. So I guess I can read through this real quick. New cross defendant Jenko is an act. Okay, so what is this? Before I start, this is
a lawsuit. This is him. This is Depp versus business managers as they talk about his finances and how he squandered and what he squandered it on. And this is the most noble way you can squander finances. So this is part of a passage where he names about a group of about 5 friends and family members who Depp helped out of a jam with money that now Depp wants paid back to him.
Dombrowski is Depp's
His sister.
his personal manager, and also the person that was responsible for getting these personal loans from Depp to the payee.
Right.
So okay. So
in this case, I'll name him because it's not in this.
Okay.
This is only Sal Janko. So it is his former bandmate and again childhood friend Bruce Witkin, who ran his music production company. He brought in this guy. He was in the Kids and stuff, and they broke up in the mid '80s, and Depp hired him to run his musical production company. He gave him a loan. Another is actor James Russo. You might know him from Paulie from Donnie Brasco. He's also in The Ninth Gate. He plays a friend book dealer of Dean Corso, and he got him a role in something else along the way. Italian character actor. You've seen him in a million things. Huge IMDb, but he's never really. You know what? I just remembered. Do you remember I told you about? There's a Donnie Brasco kind of knockoff show that CBS did called Falcone.
Okay, yes.
Joe Pistone actually worked as a consultant on it.
Of course.
Jason Gedrick plays the Joe Pistone role. And it's on CBS. There's no cursing. You can't go. It's like Donnie Brasco, like light would be an understatement. It's just this. It went barely a season. It clunked through. I don't even know if it did 10 episodes or 13. I got to see one of them. They're literally reenacting scenes from the movie. And it's so, it might be some decent attempts at, and it would be like if you had Joe Pistone today in modern day. So they tried to bring it up to modern day, not today, but like this thing was shot in 2000. James Russo's in that show.
Okay.
So I think he reenacted his Paulie role, and he just got it's just a constant connection. So Depp, again, this guy is a mensch's mensch. Depp lent him, and I say lent in stupid air quotes because you got to know if the guy's going to get it. So James Russo and his family were going to get thrown out on the street, and we're going to do a whole show on this. I'm just going to quickly go over.
There's an entire episode
Evicted.
or 5 on just his finances and who he has loaned money to. So this
is just a small thing, and
yeah.
So he lent James Russo, I think, $450,000 to get him out of this hole he was in. He was going to be him and his family are going to be evicted, and Depp just wasn't going to have his friends thrown on the street. And this is a great man. This is a friend you want to have. This is a guy who he is a ride or die bitch, as my black friends say, and he will not see his friends go down. That is someone you want to be, in your corner. That is the true essence of what a friend and family member does.
Well,
saves his ass. Janko is going through. Well, I'll get to Janko in the end of this because it's in the passage here. Witkin was broke and he lent him money. His nephew William Rassel wanted to buy a house in Kentucky and couldn't get cleared, so he lent him money to get a house. And his sister cleared all these loans. All this stuff total was $7 million these people collectively owed him, which was thought to be a loan. I don't know how you're thinking you're going to get a loan back from a guy who's going to be homeless.
Was it always
$400,000.
considered a loan, or was it considered a loan after he
might,
was
right,
in
we don't know.
financial
He might have
disaster?
said, no, right. I didn't give it to him.
I think he was desperate and he was clawing at
so
anything.
he tried to like recoup things that he could say that wasn't a loan.
Exactly. One thing I notice on this is the
I mean,
amount,
I didn't give it to you. That was a loan.
Yeah. The amount he gave Sal Janko to cover his divorce and living expenses. God, I wish I had knew Depp at the time of my divorce.
read the
Yeah, I'm going to. We know he was a co-star. Okay, so for a period of time, Janko.
Well, we should also mention they were childhood friends in Florida.
Mhm.
So that's how that all started. He goes back with him. Is his first best friend when he moved to Florida in elementary school. So they have more history than anybody does.
Okay.
Lived in a car together, you know.
Yep. So for a period of time, Janko managed the Viper Room for Depp, and the two were close friends. Okay, I've never said an amount out loud this high. The $237,270.15, wow, in distributions to Janko were approved by both Depp and Dombrowski to pay Janko's living expenses and his attorney's fees when he was going through a difficult divorce. Again, Depp was close friends with Janko and wanted the loan to be made without any formal documentation. Good God. Dombrowski also authorized the distributions.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sarah. In all fairness, would you ask your friend to sign something? I wouldn't.
If it's a loan, yes.
You would ask your best friend to
If it's
sign
a loan,
documentation? I don't think
I don't have that amount of money, so there's
But
not
he
this
does.
question exactly. But if you think of it as a loan at the time, yes, I would.
If it's the year I think it is, he's knee deep in
2008.
Disney. He's at the height of his wealth almost. He's making $25 million a film. That's nothing to him. Absolutely nothing. He could do a Japanese beer commercial and wipe that away in 5 minutes.
I don't think it was a loan at the time, though. I
I don't think
he
so
turned
either.
it into
But
a
I'm saying I
loan.
wouldn't make my friend sign anything. I don't think I would.
You're
do
way
that.
too nice.
No,
Okay.
you would be too if you were him.
No,
Oh,
I'm protecting my coin. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. For example, I can't imagine this next statement either. Oh my God, it's like the lottery. Okay. For example, on or about November 14th, 2008, Dombrowski emailed Janko stating, "If you tell me how much you need, can you help out with a round figure?" Dombrowski then forwarded Janko's response to Mandel, writing, "Let's discuss, thanks." Okay. So that's the gist of it. We're going to go into further detail on that probably in the next episode, just the Janko angle. Okay. So let's go to the next one. All right, this is a big one in the next episode. Anthony Fox was the third partner, investor who opened up the Viper Room in '93. He disappeared. I'm not going to go through this again. We'll discuss in the next episode.
There's a crazy rumor that's won't go away.
It won't. I don't buy it.
And I'm sure the succubus is going to use this.
Exactly, one of the many. She hired that private investigator.
The private investigator
found nothing. Instead, found out about her father's dog fighting ring in Texas. So she promptly fired him. So he disappeared. He was suing Depp for misappropriation of funds. I'm assuming he was suing Janko as well at the time. I think the day before he was set to testify in this case that he was expected to win. I don't know all the facts about or the details on. I'll look into more of that this week before we go into depth on it. But he disappeared. His truck was found. He disappeared with a .38 caliber. I just saw that in this. Okay. Disappeared with his gun. Truck was recovered. He nor his gun have ever been located.
You think he's living with Roman Polanski?
I don't know. I was reading somewhere, in France, in the villa, the village villa that Depp's got up for sale. He's in a bunker. I was reading that Fox's ex-wife reported she ran into him after his disappearance.
Oh, I didn't see this.
And he said, I'll send it to you. And he said, I was just trying to get away from you. She dropped it, I guess, because there was no follow-up to that. He
Right.
just walked off into the sunset. I don't know. But at the conclusion of this, in 2004, Depp then turned over his share in the nightclub to Fox's daughter, who resold it to the current
And that's
owners.
the last. That's when you go to the Viper Room and he's not there.
Exactly. That's how.
That's when
That's
you
my
show
life.
up in LA.
That's how it works.
he
I should
sells his
expect
share
no
to
more.
Fox's daughter. How
Exactly.
do we ever find out what the figure of that is? Because I think there's probably a way with all these lawsuits and transcripts out there to find out how much that was.
I don't know. There's no amount. The only thing I can find is the Viper Room has since been sold to developers as of this last spring. That plus, I think most of the block sold for a total of $80 million. So it's probably going to be demolished within the next year. And then construction will begin probably on a mall. It's California. That's what they do. Since malls are working out so great now. But which is kind of sad.
I think 5 closed while we were doing this podcast.
I know. The one down the street closed.
It's very depressing.
Yeah. Okay, next. I got to refresh my memory here. Oh, this is more on the Fox disappearance. But the media has almost completely ignored the disappearance. We'll get more into that in the next episode. The attorneys for Depp have now very quietly settled their lawsuit, signing over the interest to Fox's daughter. Okay. And the final, I believe.
Is this the one with the employee?
Yes. No.
You don't have that?
No, this is more Anthony Fox. Let me go to the next one. I do have that one. That's the final one. Okay. This is from a Viper Room staff. You want me to read it?
Allegedly. I mean, again,
of course.
But I don't know why you would make this up. I don't know how you're coming on here. And again, people have made up much worse on the internet. It's certainly possible. I put it past nobody to be able to. Of course, you could falsify this and embellish and whatever and completely lie. But again, there's a lot of detail here. There's a chance it could be true what he's saying. It's not impossible that what this guy is saying is true. If he's in there, who am I to disagree? I don't work there.
I don't trust anybody in that world. I wouldn't trust. Or you might regret it with your life.
Take it with whatever grain of sea salt you want to take it with.
So I'll read this first paragraph. I was co-manager of the Viper Room with Sal Janko. Why are we still talking about this? River Phoenix died there. Sal Janko stole the money. Everyone that worked there lost their job. Misspellings galore. Now director Olivia Barish is making a documentary, to document how great the place was. There was nothing great about it. It was nothing more than a place for the privileged to behave badly and get away with it. What dealer? It was a famous rock star who supplied the drugs that killed River Phoenix. 3 hours after the kid died, there was a meeting with criminal defense lawyer and this rock star at Johnny Depp's house. That's in the next episode.
It's crazy.
If
that's true, that's crazy. And we were always led to believe was he there that night? Yeah, he was there. It kept changing. He's not there. He's on stage. He's on stage. He's right. He's in his band. He's in River Phoenix's band. River Phoenix couldn't. He was asking Flea if he could get on, and he kept shooing him away. That rock star is John Frusciante from the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Who was alleged. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. He was he was almost dead. A dead man walking with his drug abuse in those days. It's alleged, of course, but I kind of believe it. We'll get more into that.
That he supplied
River
Phoenix with the drugs.
Yeah. And then the weird thing
is. And
so
Depp's team panics. And they have an emergency. According to this guy, they have a meeting about how we can spin this and where we were and what our role was and how to, got his lawyers on the phone. This is according to this guy. There's some emergency, which could be possible. And Frusciante's there and Depp is there. And I'm imagining Sal Janko's there and they're deliberating over what's our alibi here. We cannot be implicated in a drug transaction with a up and coming. I mean, River Phoenix is a big young actor time. I think he slightly gets embellished because of his death, of how amazing his career was. I mean, I saw him in things. I'm not blown away much here and there. He was a decent, promising young actor, but let's not go overboard with his film career because of this. And it plays right into what Adam Dervitt said, how it is only made this stuff stronger. His legend, the Viper Room's legend. So, you know, River Phoenix was a big name at the time, and it was big enough where if drug and I don't know, you know, how that wasn't even investigated, but I think, does the guy talk about it more in this passage?
It goes into just insults against Johnny Depp, but
finish it off.
The fact that Fox's I'm talking about Anthony Fox. The fact that Fox's body was never found, that cops didn't find Rivers' dealer, that Depp nor his best friend were ever investigated makes one wonder. All these years, Depp has lied, concealed, denied that he was tied to any and all. Means he was certainly someone to question. Why haven't cops dug into that dirt area in the Viper Room? The one everybody that works there won't go near. Fox's daughter deserves more than money. She deserves her father back in her life. If Depp knows and has kept a lid on it, he deserves the same to happen to him, and his children have been fortunate enough to have had that lunatic on the fringe of insanity society. He's a drunk, not an A-lister in my humble opinion. Just a silly pirate who dresses the part off screen, ruined his marriage for a 22-year-old at the time, and is a self-absorbed idiot who can't seem to play any real roles on screen nor in life. He got his start because of his looks. No finely tuned school of dramatic arts. And then the next sentence is cut off.
Wow, that is a crazy strong castigation of him. That's an axe to grind if there ever was
somebody
one.
Who's certainly invested. I don't know that it's just a random ex-fan who feels he
screwed out of his salary.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would make that up. It's a lot of detail. A lot of it's accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of he names, the castigation against Depp at the end sounds like a guy who, and again, he's entitled, really went sideways in every relationship possible that you could have with the Viper Room, Janko, and Depp. So Janko ran off with the money, stole the money, and it just sent everybody into this, unemployed tizzy that was there. So the whole place just imploded and everybody had to go their separate ways. This guy sounds like he was probably screwed out of his salary here and there. He's nothing good to say. Janko probably took off. And Janko's on Instagram, by the way.
I know. I so would
a lot
love
of posts of him and his LA Dodger posts and LA sports posts mainly.
I wish he would respond to a request for an interview.
Did you try to? Did you?
No, not yet. I'm thinking I would even.
There's no way he's not getting solicited.
I know. And why would
5,000 times a day?
I know.
I'm sure the succubus people coming after him.
Well, Johnny Depp will be on our show someday. I don't know. Okay. Viking, I know. I'm joking.
Who knows? He may be now.
Oh. Say that again, slower.
Well, you never know. He may be. He may be now. He may seek so low that I'll stoop to the levels to do this god-awful, wretched podcast.
I'm barely going to get through this question from our email before I will have to suddenly log off and disappear for an hour. Okay.
Okay, so this is an email we received. We asked for questions and comments, and we received this a few days ago. I believe it's about Marilyn Manson. You have it?
I do. Very nice. I want an email every week from you, Katie Dillinger Sparrow, just because of your name. Okay.
So she's been married to both Jack Sparrow and John Dillinger? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
I would marry Depp's version of John Dillinger. I've got his poster in my living room.
Does she have both divorce settlements from what's the better divorce settlement? The Dillinger fortune or the Sparrow fortune? Is she currently married to one of them still?
Dillinger probably had stuff stashed away. Sparrow probably spent all of his gold shekels on rum and port prostitutes with no teeth.
That's
All
an old
right.
broad too, to be married to both of them.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Hi, gang. I really enjoyed the show so far and hope you follow through. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me
I
start
love
over.
being called
I'm already
gang.
laughing.
I love me a good gang.
I really I really enjoy the show so far and hope you follow through with this indefinitely. That's bravo. Bravo. You have competition in this.
Corny Depp puns are always encouraged.
I think there's another one here. Yes, there is. Okay. But my question is, do you think Johnny's bromance with Marilyn Manson will affect his AH trials and deputation? Bravo again. Especially with recent damning strong allegations against Manson that seem to keep coming. Katie Dillinger Sparrow. Great.
Great question, Katie.
That's so good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a lot to live up to with any future questions. You want to go first?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think we've somewhat touched on Depp's friendship with Marilyn Manson cannot help what goes on. And I know the succubus's people are going to be tapping into Amber Heard. In fact, her tweeted immediately as soon as the Manson stuff hit, and it was major news. I think Rolling Stone, there's a huge Rolling Stone article last week, but it was another piece, and it was just endless stuff. As soon as it became mainstream, his abuse, is it 55 broads?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That are coming out with, you know, this and that and abuse and torture and weird, just, you cannot name him the best man, I mean, sorry, the godfather of your daughter, Lily Rose, and not know much of what he does. So Depp is going to be, it is not a good thing. It can't help. He's going to be, how do you spend all this time around this guy and you didn't see any of this? You're obviously advocating the abuse of women. We're on, you know, there's no way. I mean, that is, they couldn't love that more, her people. They're not just friends. He's the godfather of Lily Rose. They're not just friends. And there's stuff in the transcripts where they went on a 2-day drug binge after he dropped Lily off at school. And if he doesn't know where the bodies are buried, I don't know who does. And I'm speaking of Depp, right? So, and you can say, oh, well, I don't know everything Marilyn does around me. Is one of the sweetest guys ever. I would never, ever, ever ask an abuser to be the godfather of my daughter, Lily. You know, he's going to say stuff like that. And there's no good way to sugarcoat this. If you were AH's, if you were the succubus's team, you would use it against him too. It is the height of abuse allegations. 55 women in this. And I really, and what judge is going to look at, they already prejudge Marilyn Manson like he's just, you know, the Antichrist is what he literally calls himself. So all these, this persona that he's living up to in real life. And according to Trent Reznor, who you know better than I do, is the ins and outs, says that as soon as Manson became more into drugs and alcohol and it enveloped his brain, the abuse got strong. So people who defend Manson don't know that side of him or see a different side. If he's constantly shifting his personality and persona and in constant shtick mode, you don't know who the real guy is. And all these women are wrong. 55 women coming up with these crazy stories of rape and abuse and torture and weird and sicking his bodyguards on people at concerts. And there have been lawsuits that were settled that were, he got convicted of, and he just threw money at the problem and it went away. So you're telling me, and again, you know him better than, all these women are wrong? I mean, it is going to hurt a lot. Will it shift the tide of the trial? I don't know. It might, if they stay on it long enough. Amber Heard's already pounced on it. She gleefully tweeted and danced on his grave a few months ago, and and had her own commentary about it, implying that she knows something more about Manson than has already been, and I'm sure she's saving it. If it's true, if it's who believes anything she says. but maybe she does know something. But I will defer to you. What is your take on this? It can't help, right?
No, it's not going to help at all. The image he created in the early to mid 90s, and I was at a show in 95. This was before he hit it big in 96 with the Antichrist Superstar album. On stage, most of the show, I was a fan of the music, but in the background you have an ongoing simulation of the torturing of women in just that show on that tour.
Oh, that's the motif on stage?
Yeah, there's a woman
Okay.
in a cage. Trying to remember.
And
This
now
was
he's
so
going to go,
long
oh,
ago.
that's just an act. It's all shtick.
Exactly.
Why would you need that
I
as
get
your
that it's
shtick?
an act, but you've planted that in people's
But why?
minds.
But why? Why is that your
It's
shtick?
shock.
What does it do?
It's just shock. You go as far as you can go.
It sounds kind of mindless almost.
That's absolutely what it is. But my point is, you're planting that in people's heads. That idea of you is always there. Now, granted, as he went along with future tours, that aspect of his live show faded. It was more, tearing up of a Bible at the podium, him on a cross of monitors playing.
I mean, I'm going to ask because I don't know if you're a fan of music, but he doesn't play any instruments, right? I mean, his music's all digitized and his voice is like run through an auto tuner.
I don't even think he does the Bono thing where he pretends.
Does he play any? He plays no instruments, right? Does he even?
No.
So I'm almost failing to see what the talent here is, other than just like a.
He is a decent songwriter. I know you don't agree.
I'm not saying he's not a decent. I mean, I'd have to analyze the lyrics, right, and compare it. But I'm just just on a vocalist. What is he doing? It's like kind of glorified spoken word. I'm just saying, as an artist, what does a guy like Depp see in him? Because I would think
it's a drug buddy.
Even he's aligning himself with all these rock stars. I mean, he's a huge rock star group. He's all these rocker friends. It's insane. It's endless. They all come through the Viper Room, and he's just attached to everybody. So I'm thinking a guy like him who really tried to make it as a punk musician with a punk rock band and a sound that would, at a time when it's great detail and songwriting and singing and musicianship. And wouldn't a guy like Manson repulse him as someone who it's a bit of a poser, not a bit of a poser, an act, shtick, anti-music, musical integrity of everything he tried to be as a musician? Shouldn't that repel him?
Back in the day, Manson's greatest achievement was not only getting onto Trent Reznor's label for funding and the ability to make albums, but it was to be considered in the same genre as a David Bowie, who was also a friend of Reznor's. They were all associated, yes, loosely, but it's that cool thing with Depp. David Bowie is one of his great idols.
So you think it's a cool factor of
at the time,
far beyond any musical interest in what they right. I agree with that. And if you watch Sweeney Todd, Depp clearly is using David Bowie's singing voice as an inspiration to do the Sweeney Todd numbers.
What's the Hollywood Vampire's biggest song?
Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, which he sings, and he sings 2 songs, and that's the one everybody.
But
it's the only one people care about, and he's got a great singing. I wish he'd sing more.
It's an enabling drug buddy who's always available. He's not touring that much, I don't think. I mean, I don't know I don't follow him anymore. But
it's a great way for the succubus's people, legal team, to use the drugs and the abuse all in one. It's a great way to Marilyn Manson, I think, helped the succubus majorly with these allegations.
But what I also want to get to is Evan Rachel Wood, who was the originator of these allegations. She has already reached out to Amber Heard and vice versa via Twitter. So they are already
really
concocting
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have.
You've seen this exchange?
Yeah, Amber Heard, back in the beginning, I think she applauded her for being brave.
It's crazy, you know, the Twitter stuff and Instagram. It's very, very, you know, capricious and chaotic, and it's hard to follow. You know, it's just all over the place. It's stuff. It's you can't see it all, and I didn't see this.
You can bet this will be part of her defense. She doesn't have much of anything else. She has already been proven to have faked pictures via metadata. So remember, she's got a billionaire.
And his relationship, Roman Polanski's not going to help either. Why are you doing a film with Roman Polanski?
I know, but she's got a billionaire in her pocket who was able to change some metadata on some photos for her. Didn't do that great of a job because it was discovered she photoshopped or ran them through whatever. I don't know. I've never done it. But she faked pictures of her abuse.
Yep. Oh,
This is all she's got. She's desperate. So she is going to create...
Run it up the flagpole.
Yeah, she's going to say, this is him. Look who he hangs out with.
That's the real guy. Yep. This is who he's facilitating and advocating for. An accused abuser of 55 women. I'm one. This guy, and then there's no way. I could almost see that being front and center in her.
I do want to say, because I haven't been following the Manson half of this as much as I should. I'm a third of the way through that Rolling Stone article.
By the way, you know how they met? Sorry to interrupt. You know how they met? 21 Jump Street, season 4, an episode where they went to Fort Lauderdale. They followed some dude to spring break to investigate some cult. And Marilyn Manson was an extra on 21 Jump Street.
I didn't know that.
In season 4.
No,
what?
He was barely there too. Johnny Depp was barely there.
I know.
I doubt they even saw each other.
He had one big foot out the door.
Yeah.
You talk about mailing it in.
Do you know? Oh, those episodes are going to be great. I can't wait to go through that.
I can't wait to do the drinking game. I want to do the drinking game to the eye rolls, to the Tom Hansen season 4 eye rolls.
The gum chomp game. So, if that answered the question, that's all I know. That's all I suspect and all I know. Could it be a money grab from all 55 of these women? Yeah, I guess. But it's a lot of women. We'll see how it plays out.
They're all wrong.
I'm not saying
They're
that.
They're all in cahoots making it up.
I'm not saying
and that's
that.
What Manson's saying. At some point.
Do I think he's into some stuff that can be taken the wrong way? Yes. That's all I know. I know everything else I know. I love Antichrist Superstar and Mechanical Animals, and that's all. That's all I know.
And again, even with Depp, the drugs involved with these two, when you're trying to defend yourself and you're bragging about this cornucopia of who's who of from absinthe to heroin to, is that the same thing? to ecstasy to you can't ever claim to be in the right state of mind, right? Even if you are, that's going to be thrown in your face.
That's how she won the
recreational drug. Yep, I believe you're right. I think 12 out of 15 accounts she won, and I think the drugs played a major part in that.
Every answer she gave began with,
"He was on drugs.
He was high, drunk and high." And in a more conservative court, that's always going to sway the judge that still wears a wig. So.
I thought you were talking Howard Stern on AGT.
Yes, she'll be up on the stage. How do I want to wrap it up with him? I wish him good luck in the trial. I think he has a better shot in Virginia than he does in the UK. More evidence has come out. Absolutely, it's a jury system this time. She's been proven to be a liar.
And just her, delaying the trial looks like you. Are terrified.
I don't know if she's been sanctioned yet for all of her delay tactics that have failed, but she has been warned numerous times that she would be sanctioned. And
Didn't
it's
the
going to be the
Virginia
same
courts
judge.
get pissed at her for wasting everybody's time with
repeatedly.
the delay? Yeah,
Repeatedly.
that's not going to help. I hope
So,
I hope it's held against her.
This is desperation mode. So going back to the Manson thing, she's going to throw whatever she can.
From a purely artistic standpoint, from a pure self-indulgent fanboy episode, he is 10 million times more important to the movie industry than she will ever be, despite Aquaman making all the money it did. And I'm a huge Aquaman fan, but she could not be more replaceable. There are thousands of actresses that could do that role and do it better.
Well, she couldn't. So replaceable. They were going to film in Australia. They couldn't go because of her and her issues in Australia.
Yep.
She's basically a wanted woman
dog
in
stuff
Australia.
And now the dog the dog smuggling thing is a whole other thing. And again, give us closure on that. Where is that going?
The last update I heard was the FBI is assisting Australia in the investigation.
Good Lord, let's get some fucking.
I know.
God.
It could be too with that. They're waiting on the trial. I don't know.
Everything's we're gonna be dead by the time any of this shit is finalized.
I'm
if it ever is.
To die in my sleep the night before that trial begins.
I could be dead by the time we know the result.
All right, we are almost at 3 hours for part 1. So let's wrap this up. I want to go to bed.
All right, Sarah, great job on the video, finale on the compilation. You never get enough credit for the midnight oil you burnt.
That's just 6 hours
doing
over
this
the weekend.
That's
got a Browns game I got to get ready for tomorrow. It's a fix-it game. The Lions, if they don't win, I'll be devastated. So Portland plays
if you don't
tonight.
beat the Lions,
I'm gonna be. I will run myself and the entire team out of the NFL if we lose
the only
tomorrow.
thing that ruined more Thanksgivings than tryptophan, the Detroit Lions.
Dear God, I hope.
How do you sleep, Sarah, when the beds are burning?
What's the next line? Oh my God.
How the time has come to say, to pay our debt and to pay our debt.
I'm so tired.
How
I
do we
apologize. You have
sleep
to pick up the slack on that.
the beds are
Yeah,
burning?
thank you.
I expected you to finish it. I know.
I can't. I'm so brain fried right now.
The time has come to say, Wells, well, I forget how it goes.
Let's do a Manson song to end it. I'm just kidding.
A what?
A Manson song to end it. I'm kidding. Please don't. All right. So I want to thank you for your.
Yeah, I don't have the auto tuner. I can't do it. I don't have his auto.
Please. With my voice cracking because of my sporting event last night, I am surprised I made it this long tonight. So I probably could get low enough to do the Manson voice. So I will end it here, and thank you again, Arm, for being your expert analysis and the entertainment in this tiny little podcast. I will put some links in the description and so on and so forth.
Also listen to Radio Gunk podcast, the sister Stern podcast of this.
Yes.
Kind of on the same network.
Thank you. I forget to do this every week. Thank you so much to the lovely, talented, and benevolent dictator Monique from Radio Gunk for her endless promotion. Appreciated.
And Bon Jovial as well.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. So thank you, everybody.
Who's a huge fan of yours. You got to love the compilation.
I need to have one. So hey.
There's legions.
He's the president of my club.
You've heard of Depp heads. There are going to be Sarah heads by the time this is all said and done.
So, okay, Mr. Jalsenko, I will talk to you very soon.
Thank you, Sarah. Great job.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're on a tight ship.
Yeah, I try.
You are a rich man. You are a rich rock sinker. You are a busy man with the Midas touch. I like you a lot in the mix. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. You are a working class dog. You are a busy man. You own the Viper Room in Hollywood, California. You can really call the shots. Johnny